Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. It's the Watchalong. It's Northampton Town versus Manchester United. It's potentially not the game that we would have wanted, but actually it's potentially quite very, very important, and one that I personally am actually quite looking forward to in the very real sense that we've got to win it. We've got to win it, surely. So let me just get your live comments up. There's a lot I want to discuss. We've got team news coming in very, very soon. I also want to talk about this dressing room split. I've got a bit of a rallying cry I want to give. I think there's a responsibility to give it. But before I get that, let's focus on you, because that's what it's always about. It is the watch along, and it's nothing without the live comments. So we're not going to carry on much further without getting it on. Let's get it on. First of all, don't want you there. It's one of them annoying things that actually you can't get it to work until you're actually live. So stop it up there and turn you on. Team news is coming in any moment. I've not heard anything about anything, so I can't confirm or deny about team news. I would hope there'll be no Fellaini or Rooney, because I think we need to be looking elsewhere, but we will see what happens. We're live, Sporting Film Stand. Yes, we are. I'm on about selling Romero. Romero is a fine backup goalkeeper. This is not the team news. Big error. Thanks for whoever told me about that. That is not the team news at the bottom. We will get the team news up when it's confirmed. At the moment, I have no news as to who's going to be in the team, so I'm not going to start contemplating giving you anything. Ryan Haddock has just tweeted me, "We're live now, pal." When are we going live with that? So please do share the videos. It is the United Stand Army. We do these watch-alongs with you. Share the video, tweet it, everything like that. Let's get as many people watching as we can. I think, actually, like as I was saying at the start, this may not have been the most exciting fixture, but I think it's important now. We've got to win tonight. We've got to win tonight. I want us to win tonight, and I want us to win well. I'm absolutely furious with the press and the leaking from the dressing room, and the reluctance from ex-professionals, some of them from our club, to back our manager and slate the players who have been poor for 3 years. But what I read an article in The Sun today from, I think it was Neil Ashton, who's basically relating Jose to, he's upsetting everybody at United like he did at Chelsea. It's all going downhill like it was at Chelsea. They've got a massive agenda, and I ask you, Manchester United fans, like me and the people on the United Stand, to stand behind the manager. We are hardly into his reign. It's a handful of games. They never got on Moyes' back until the following April, and we knew he was the wrong manager from day one. He doesn't deserve to be treated like this. People have said to me today, "Oh, you didn't give Louis van Gaal time or Moyes." I think I'll correct you, said the man in the orthopaedic shoe. I will correct you. We did back Louis van Gaal for the first year. We did back Moyes, and we will be backing Jose Mourinho for the entirety of this season. So that's what I implore you to do. I'm disgusted by what the press are trying to do, which is essentially force him out when he's only been here a few games. And we know that players are leaking stuff from the dressing room, and that disgusts me as well. And if we know who that is, they should be outed. I just had an interesting comment there. It's about Rooney, which we'll touch on in a moment, because I know that team news is impending. But yeah, really not happy. And in a way, it's that siege mentality. We've lost 3 games, but did you know that out of Sir Alex Ferguson, Moyes, Louis van Gaal, even if you want to add Ryan Giggs in there, the first 5 games they're in charge as Manchester United manager, Jose's got the best record. So it's just totally and utterly unacceptable. I do need a shave, Martin, you're right, but it's unacceptable. Unacceptable the way the press are trying to hand him out. And all I can say is, look, forget what anybody else says. Forget what rival fans say. The most important thing is that Manchester United fans don't fall for their crap agenda of trying to turn us against our manager. I want him to do well. Starting 11 is in. It's Romero, it's Fosu Mensah, Smalling, Blind, Rojo, Schneidlin, Carrick, Memphis, and Herrera, Young. Rooney starts as captain. Johnston, Darmian, Fellaini, Lingard, Mata, Rashford, Ibrahimovic on the bench. Well, I back the manager, so we back the manager, don't we? But give us your thoughts on that. It isn't the team. It isn't a bad team. I'm not going to say it's a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. But as I said, we'll go through it very slowly this time, so you know it, because I'm typing it out. And as I'm going through it, I can sort of give you my thoughts. So we've got Romero in goal. To be honest, you know what? I don't really have an issue with that, but I also, at the same time, don't see the point in it. Fosu Mensah at right back, happy about that. I think most of us would be, wouldn't we? He's he's a player of the future. We want to see him playing games, so you can't moan about that. Smalling and Blind, maybe Bailly did need a rest. He was poor at the weekend against Watford after a great start to the season. Maybe taking him out of that firing line a bit isn't a bad idea. Rohert left back, accident waiting to happen. We all know about that, but we've got no Luke Shaw, and if he's playing Blind as a centre back, what are the options really? Schneiderlin can't do much worse, can he? He's going to play in the midfield with Carrick. I don't have much of a problem with that, if I'm totally honest. You got Herrera in there as well, which will give us a bit of dynamism, which is my favourite word. And I think also with Schneiderlin and maybe Carrick sitting back, that would be useful. Ashley Young, absolutely awful against Watford. Rooney probably going to play as a number 9, which to me would strongly suggest that the rumours that he might be dropped against Leicester could be true, because if he's playing as a number 9, is he going to drop Zlatan at the weekend? I mean, I don't know. Give us your thoughts on that. I will be with you very quickly. I'm just getting the team out for you so you've got everything right. And onto the bench then, which is always quite an interesting thing with Manchester United. You've got De Gea on the bench. You've got Darmian, who, to be honest, I think his days are numbered, aren't they, as a Manchester United player if he can't even get in. You've got Lingard. Who else we got? Mata, Rashford, and Ibrahimovic. Johnston's actually on the bench, I'm being told. So you've got Mata, Rashford, and Zlatan. I mean, you can read a lot of things into it. I mean, you could say, why is Rooney starting? But maybe Rooney's starting because he won't be starting on Saturday. You know, who knows? Who knows what's happening with that? The ultimate thing is, I back the manager, and that's where I am with it. There's the team up for you now. I can join the live comments, which is great. Rooney starts, as we said. I'm not too interested in that. I think if he can play well today, what I would say about Rooney starting is that he's not going anywhere. And whether he goes on the bench because he deserves to on Saturday, which will be a tough game against Leicester, whether that happens or not, ultimately, whether you've run out of patience with him or not, which I have, then a Rooney playing half decent is better than this continued rubbish. So I'm not too surprised that he starts. I just don't think he should be starting at the weekend. And shoot me if you're not with me on that one. I want to take some of your comments, but I'm sort of juggling a few things up here before I really get into this rant that I wanted to do, because I think in many ways it's almost secondary what this lineup was going to be today. Because if Rooney hadn't started, you'd have said, oh, he's going to play on Saturday. Now that he has started, maybe he won't start on Saturday. Who knows? This was still a chance to test the lineup without Rooney, says Mark McCallum. I don't disagree with you, Mark. But maybe you can flip it round and say, well, Rooney starting tonight as a number 9 is quite interesting, because he's not been starting as a number 9. I presume he'll start as a number 9. I mean, looking at that team again, for those who've missed it, obviously Romero in goal, Fosu Mensah good at right back. I'm excited about that. Smalling and Blind, they did well last year, so you know what? Rohert left back is always going to be a disaster. Nice to see Michael Carrick in the team. I would expect we'll grab hold of the midfield. Schneiderlin, Herrera and Carrick, as bad as it sounds, is a better midfield than Pogba, Fellaini and Rooney. So I'd argue that with anybody. Ashley Young on the right. We're playing a League One side. If you can't do it tonight, then you can never do it. Memphis, massive opportunity, a lot of excitement with that. And Rooney up front, you would expect. So the team news is out, Ramsey. We've got it flashing up below on the screen for you there. So give us your thoughts. Jay says that I think this is Rooney's last chance. Done nothing in midfield, so he's getting a chance at number 9. Yeah. You know what? The furthest we can get Rooney away from the midfield, the better. That's where the problem is. You can have a witch hunt against Wayne Rooney. I can be honest to you now and say Wayne Rooney is abysmal at the moment. But, maybe that... The midfield is the problem with Manchester United. We've taken him out of the midfield. We've taken Fellaini out of the midfield. What we should be looking at today is Herrera, Schneiderlin and Carrick, a brand new midfield, showing the boss what they can do, because the only addition I would be making to that 3 is Pogba for one of those 3. That's what I'd be looking to do on Saturday. I'm pretty sure he'll play Fellaini again because Fellaini's not involved, but Pogba not even on the bench, so there we go. Jurgen Klint says Schneiderlin needs to stamp his authority tonight, Mark. He does. Anonymous wanted to see Carrick and Pogba together. Epic Toaster wanted to see Fosu Mensah in the midfield. I can pretty pretty much guarantee that that's not the case. Somebody just said I look sad there. You know what? I'll be totally honest. I'm always honest with you on the United stand, and that's what I like about doing the watch-alongs. It's you and me, and we will have people joining us. Callum's going to join us at half-time. I'm absolutely exhausted this week. I've been run off my feet today, and I'm just so tired this week. I had an awful week sleeping, but I'm looking forward to this. It's always a switch off from real life to do the watch-alongs and talk about United with you lot, so let's get into it. Veal Dale M says, Mark, for me it's obvious Rooney fails today and drop is confirmed for Leicester. Simple. Well, it's Wednesday night. Let's not forget, it's Wednesday night. We're playing Saturday lunchtime, so for anybody playing today, there is a chance that if you're in the team today, you will not be playing on Saturday. So, and especially with Rooney playing at number 9, if Rooney's playing on Saturday, why not play him in the midfield where he's going to play? Maybe he's going to drop Zlatan. Maybe I should take Zlatan out of my fantasy Premier League team and get Lukaku in. I do not know. But let's see what happens. Atul saying Rooney is way too slow as a striker. He thinks like a midfielder now. Well, I think, in all fairness to Rooney, it isn't a witch hunt, and I'll argue that with anybody. It's not a witch hunt, it's just the fact is he's not been good enough. So tonight, let's all watch him. I always point out a couple of tactical things I'll be watching in the game. It's very early for me to do that, but I will give an early shout out and say I'll be watching Rooney like a hawk to see what he does. The big problem with Rooney, whether he's been playing as the number 10 or what, he doesn't play the number 10 position, he drops too deep. So he's playing number 9 tonight. Stick near the box, because you could be our backup striker. You could even, do really well. You might push Zlatan out, I doubt it. But if you're going to be a number 9, great. As long as he's not in the midfield, I'm happy. It's no witch hunt with Rooney. He's not been good enough. Have a go at number 9. I'm happy with that. Obviously, Mkhitaryan's not fit, otherwise I thought we would have seen him. Ashley Young, to be honest, he falls into the Wayne Rooney category with me. I think he's 31 now. What does he offer us in the future? He's on the decline, and he's just not good enough for a first team that wants to win a title for me anymore, Ashley Young. But I'm excited by Fosu Mensah. I'm hopeful. Memphis starting. What can you do, mate? Let's see what you can do. And that midfield 3. What I'm predicting is Michael Carrick will grab hold of that midfield. We're in a bit of a sticky no-win situation, because what will happen is people will say, oh, it's only Northampton. So if we win 1-0 and scrape it, people will go mad and say, oh, we're still crap, we only beat them 1-0. If we beat them 5-0, everyone will say, it's only Northampton. And Rooney gets a couple of games, it's only Northampton. So we're on a bit of a hiding to nothing no matter what happens. But I want to see us doing well. Looking at the bench, you've got Lingard, Mata, Rashford, Zlatan. I'd like to see a bit of Rashford, but there's nobody on that bench that really shines to me that I want them to come on. So let's give this first team a good run out, and let's not be wasting substitutions that we don't need to, because Saturday's going to be a very tough game against a decent Leicester side who got knocked out by Chelsea last night but played their reserves. Let's hope Rooney gets injured, says Michael William. Bloody hell, Rojo better not cost us tonight, says Louise. I don't understand Ashley Young on our squad, says 4730 Parking. I think let's bring it back to Jose, because I do want to talk about that in a moment. Well, no, we'll talk about that in a minute, but what I'll just say on that point about Ashley Young is that this is the problem. This is a mistake, I think, that's happened, and it will feed into what we're going to talk in a bit about the dressing room, because I think Ashley Young could well be part of the contribution. You do not know, which I'll elaborate more on in a minute. But I think we retain too much experience. You look at the last 3 years, it's been abject failure from Manchester United, and we've retained too much experience. Too many players who earn a lot of money and have got a lot of mouth on them, who've done nothing really in a Manchester United shirt for 3 years. They're very lucky to still be here. For me, if I was in charge, and obviously I'm not, I would have got rid of Ashley Young. I would have got rid of Phil Jones. I would have got rid of Rojo straight away. Excuse me. Those 3 would have been out the door, and I would have been giving more time to the likes of Fosu Mensah, and I probably would have bought in Fabinho or someone like that, because I think there's too many experienced pros in our squad who've been here for too long in a mediocre period, and it needs a shake-up, and Ashley Young would be one of those who falls on the sword. Nothing against him, I just think we've got we retain too many experienced players in our squad this season. Experienced in what? It's a many a year since we won a title now. You're experienced in failure, and I think that is, I would agree with that. Why is Ashley Young here? The one player I was thinking tonight when I was walking back from the train tonight, I was trying to think of when we played well, and as silly as it sounds, one of our better performances was pre-season against Wigan with Pereira in the midfield. And I thought, you know what? Tonight's perfect for him. Perfect for him to come into that team, play with freedom. He's a young, fresh player. He's not part of this failure. Give him a go. But obviously we loaned all the young players out, which I think was a mistake. But Porik Cryan says, Mark, I'm afraid of Smalling tonight as he hasn't got much game time. I think I'd flip that round, Porik, and say that's exactly why Smalling needed to play. Yeah, he needs game time. You're right. Tony Cool Guy, says so happy that Carrick is playing, one of our unsung heroes. As I said, if Carrick holds that midfield today, I don't understand why he hasn't been playing a minute. Very quickly, before we go on to this Jose thing, there was a very good article I read today, and I do read a lot of things, and I very rarely read it and go, you know what, that's flawless. And I put it out on the Twitter. I said, brilliant article by The Telegraph, talking about Manchester United and where they're going wrong. Big article on Rooney, don't want to go on that, but big article on where we went wrong against Watford, where we've been going wrong this season, and they showed a number of pictures of where Fellaini was halfway up the pitch when he should have been defensive midfield. I don't understand why Jose's picking him. I think it's one of his big mistakes, picking Fellaini as a defensive midfielder, because he isn't one. We've been watching Manchester United for years and years and years. I've seen Carrick throughout that, and what Michael Carrick will do is he won't wander away from his position of protecting the back four. He'll sit in that position, he takes the ball off the back four, he shields it, and he dictates the play. It's baffling why he's not being picked. We don't know the full reasons why. There could have been a fallout. Maybe he can't play 90 minutes anymore. Who knows? But we definitely missed that. And I would expect today, especially against the League One side, Michael Carrick would just grab this game, give a lot of people confidence. And I wouldn't be surprised if Rooney had a good game, because him and Carrick have played together for so long. They're good mates. They're big influencers. I think Carrick, if it works tonight, it won't be rocket science. Why? And also, I think Herrera at this level, he's exactly the sort of midfielder that we need. Mark, are you happy with the lineup? Says Hannibal. Very good question. Yes, I am happy. Look, you've always got your initial thing, and I thought, you know what, why is Rooney playing? But on the other hand, if he picked Rashford, I'd be thinking, oh, that means Rooney's going to play at the weekend. Rashford on the bench probably means he'll play at the weekend. So yeah, I'm really happy with Fosu Mensah playing. I'm happy with the centre backs. Rojo, I wouldn't be happy ever. The midfield I'm happy with. Carrick, Schneider and Herrera. Memphis started. The only position I'm really frustrated a bit about is Ashley Young. I don't understand that one. But the Rooney one, he's not playing in the midfield, so that lessens a lot of my frustration when it comes to Wayne Rooney, I must be honest. But give us your thoughts. What do you think? Andy and Awesome Tube is saying Mark Rooney's going to play really well, but Memphis is going to play better. All I can say is what I've just said to you. It's a League 2 game, and we should be winning it. League 1, they're a League 1 opposition. I'm glad it's away. It makes it a little bit more of a challenge. We do need a challenge at the moment. If it had been at Old Trafford, again, you're on more of a hiding to nothing, but it's not. It's at Northampton. It'll be a sellout crowd. They'll be up for it. It'll be tough. It'll be a battle. And one thing we haven't been doing lately is battling. So that is another positive from this game, which I'm looking forward to seeing. I want to talk a little bit in a moment about this dressing room. And I'm just sending a little message while I do that. Yeah, interesting, wasn't it, last night? That we obviously were... It sort of happened, didn't it, that we were watching the Twitter last night, and it sort of came out very late on. It was Gary Neville again, who obviously, if you follow us on Twitter, there was a bit of interaction with Gary yesterday, which was quite interesting. I think it was all done in good taste. Harry Harles is saying, "What's the lineup?" People having problems with this yellow thing that goes below us that gives the lineup, but I'll give it you anyway, just to be very quick. Romero in goal, Fosu Mensah right back, Blind Smalling centre backs, Rojo left back, Carrick holding the midfield, Schneider and Herrera in there with him, and obviously you've got Ashley Young on the right, Memphis on the left, and Rooney at number 9. So that's your starting lineup. But let's go back to this. It comes out last night that there's some sort of leak. I think it may have been the Telegraph again, actually, or the Independent, that said that Jose is a bit more, he's more aggressive, he's more personal than even Sir Alex Ferguson was, and a lot of the players don't like it. And Gary Neville commented that ridiculous already, we've got somebody who is leaking stuff from the dressing room. And somebody challenged him on that, and he came back and said, more or less confirmed that reads as if somebody's leaking stuff from the dressing room. And it's gone out further. The Sun talked about it, like I was on about a few minutes earlier. So you look at that and you say, well, who's playing under Jose now that played under Sir Alex Ferguson? Because if they're saying he's worse than Sir Alex Ferguson, then obviously they played under Sir Alex Ferguson. And we know the people who've sort of been accused. I tweeted off my personal account this morning when I read it, that it's common knowledge there's two players who run that dressing room or have run it for the last couple of years. That's Michael Carrick and Wayne Rooney. So suspicion falls onto them. Having said that, Ashley Young was there at that time. Chris Smalling was there at that time, as were a couple of others like Phil Jones, David De Gea, I think Valencia. All, I would say, unlikely. I'm not going to accuse who's leaked it because that would be totally unfair to do it. What I would say, and where I start to go up a level, is that I wanted this man to be our manager at Manchester United. I still want him to be my manager at Manchester United, and I will give him a year at Manchester United. No matter what happens, he will get a year. If we lose tonight 6-0, 6-0 at the weekend, we're in a relegation battle at Christmas, I will give him the year. It'll be difficult, but I will give him the year because I believe that this man, everything I've seen about him in my life watching football and since he came on the scene, he is the best manager in world football, especially for what we need. What's going on at Manchester United and what this has shown me is the massive issues that we've got. We've heard about this hangover from Van Gaal and how players aren't doing what Jose wants because it was so drilled into them what he wanted. And it was a dictatorial managership from Van Gaal. It's going to take a little bit of time. But I think one of the big issues is the egos in and around Manchester United. As I said, abject failure for 3 years. Senior pros earning a lot of money who've obviously got a big gob on them, sending stuff out through the media. We need to root them out. We need to kick them out. There's nobody in that squad that if Jose Mourinho come out tonight and said, that's the player who's been sending this stuff out and they will be kicked out of this club as soon as I can do it, he will get 100% support from me, and I would urge everybody else to get behind this manager. He's got a massive job on his hands. He has spent money, but it's a massive job. And the press, without doubt, the vast majority of the press have got their knives out and they want him to fail. I even believe that there are some ex-professional footballers from Manchester United who have that same theory. I can't prove that, but the press for sure. We've got to get behind them. Don't fall into the trap of turning against a manager who is the right manager so early on. It is ridiculous. Don't do it. Back the manager, support the manager. However, what I want to say is that people will say, Mark, you weren't happy that he's picking Fellaini. You've been critical of the manager. To which I would say, it's a shame we never did watch-alongs or the United stand when Sir Alex Ferguson was in charge, because team sheets would come out, he'd drop Beckham, I would go mad down the pub with my mates. I'd be like, what the hell is he doing? What is he doing? And that is part of being a football fan. Jose, I back to the hilt and he will get my support. However, when he picks a team like today and Ashley Young's there, I'm not going to not be Mark Goldbridge on the United stand and say, I don't agree with that, Jose. I don't know why you're picking him. He's deadwood, I'd get rid of him. That's the beauty of football. I'm not going to totally agree with everything the manager he does, but I back him. And very quickly. That's a good question, Jake. He's just said, Mark, do you think that Sir Alex Ferguson had a big influence on the reason why we're not succeeding? No, I'm one of those who sit in I think it's a total myth that Sir Alex Ferguson left us in a mess. And I know some United fans like to go down that route and they say it was an impossible job for Moyes because he left an ageing team. What I think absolute bullshit. He did leave a slightly ageing team. However, he left him with the champions. He left him with Robin van Persie. David Moyes came in. He never should have been given the job. That was the mistake of Sir Alex Ferguson. He never should have been given the job. But Moyes came in and got rid of the entire backroom staff. It was arrogant and stupid for a man who is just not anywhere near that level a manager. He made big mistakes. We know he made Rio Ferdinand and Vidic study Phil Jagielka. I mean, this is a man who was just out of his depth at Manchester United. So no, I don't think Sir Alex Ferguson made a mistake with what he left. He left the champions. It needed Jose to come in then, and I think he wanted the job. That was the big mistake, Jake. So there we go. So yeah, that's where I am. I just all I can say, I know we get a lot of people watching the United stand, and I know you've all got your own opinion, so that is why I don't want to jump in too much. But I want, and I will implore you, stick with the manager, because I can see what I'm old enough and long enough in the tooth, and I just saw Lynn there, and I'm not saying she's old, but you know, we have been watching United for many years, and I'm sure a lot of you have. I can see what's happening with the press. I sort of saw it in the summer. They were holding Pep up and they were sort of digging Jose out. And now the season's started and we've had a bit of a bad run. They're in there and they will be in there. They want him to fail. I thought it was bang out of order of the Sun to start likening everything to Chelsea today and his reign at Chelsea so soon and basically saying United players aren't happy with him. Because I tell you what, if United players aren't happy with him, they're not getting any sympathy or empathy from me or United support. If you're not happy, get stuffed. I can't be doing it with backstabbers causing problems for my football club. Get out. I don't care who you are. You know, I'm not saying it is, but if it was, I'm trying to think of one of my favourite players. You know, if it was Michael Carrick, If it was Carrick, you've been a great servant, go. If you're trying to undermine the manager through the press, get out. We don't need that sort of mentality in Manchester United. We've got to be united. We are united by this manager. He gets our support. Back the manager. It is a siege mentality. We've had siege mentalities before under Sir Alex when we've been winning and everyone hates us. Flip it round. We might have to go through some bad results. I think Leicester on Saturday is a tough game. And if you were asking me now whether we'll beat Leicester on Saturday, I'd be saying I hope we do. But I'd say draw. I really would. I think we're not up to that sort of a challenge. They are a team and we're not playing as a team. But we've got to back the manager. That's where I'm coming from this. Back the manager, stick together. Don't get dissenting too soon. It's way too early for that. So please, that's my message. And I will reiterate, I'm disgusted by the media actions. It's not just an attack on a manager. It's an attack on our club. We've chosen this manager. We're backing him. And we want time for it to work out. And I think that it's disgusting what they're trying to do. It really is disgusting. I know it's not all of them, but a number of papers are on their way having a go at him, and it's not right. Gamerslight says, Mark, Alex did leave an ageing team. The difference is Alex was an amazing manager and got the best out of an average squad. Gamerslight, if you're a decent manager, it doesn't matter if it's an ageing team or not. Moyes came in, he got rid of the backroom staff, and he didn't have a clue. He was totally out of his depth. It set us back a long time. I think it's great Rooney's playing, says Sandy. Well, we know we've got the Rooney lovers out there. Daniel's disgusted by my unshaven beard. I have done it before, don't worry. I will have a shave though. Patrick Anderson, Mark, do you think Rooney's striker now is an excuse for Mourinho to drop him on Saturday? Rooney deserves to be dropped on Saturday. He does deserve to be dropped on Saturday. Whether you like him or not, he does. Tyler Hastings, what would you do with Rooney, Mark? I'd drop him. I probably would have played. I tell you what, I probably would have played him tonight. This is the League Cup. You're playing your fringe players. If you dropped him tonight and then you drop him on Saturday, I think that's too far. I think whatever happens with Wayne Rooney, and people will have different things. People will be saying chuck him in a river. Some people will be saying keep him in the reserves for a month. Some people will say put him on the bench. Some people would still pick him. Whatever you think, a fit and confident and playing well Wayne Rooney is still an asset to Manchester United. I think it's personally he's an asset from the bench because I think a fit and playing well Wayne Rooney is not a fit and playing well Wayne Rooney we know and love. I think he's on the decline, and I think him at his best isn't better than what we've got. But off the bench, I think he's a good player. I think the problem is he's been wrongly given the captain. I think the captaincy, in fairness to him, destroyed him and killed his aggression. The thing is, he is the captain, so I'm looking forward to Saturday because if he's going to get dropped like he should do, it could be a new era for Manchester United. And I think as well, that's very important going back to about Jose there, this should be a new era. I think we've retained too many experienced players, way too many experienced players. And it is a new era. We do need a clear out. And I'm not saying you're old, Lynn. I mean, you're experienced like me in Manchester United. And I'm talking about the press and how I can see 100%, and I'm sure a lot of you can, what they're trying to do. They are trying to turn the Manchester United support against Jose, because if you do that, it's a slippery track. And which is why it's not me, I will stick by the manager, and I think most of the people on the United stand will. But you're the United stand. You're all individuals, and I'm imploring you, just keep your eyes wide open to what's happening. They are trying, the biggest way to force a manager out is to get the fans on him. It will take time, because the club, quite rightly, Woodward this time, he'll try and back him like he did Van Gaal, which will play into our hands if we want Jose. They won't get rid of him quickly. But if you start to turn the fans against him, it helps. And that's what this press are trying to do. Do you think Arsenal fans or City fans really are going to have a say on Jose? Of course they're going to hate him. But if Man United fans turn against him, it's a whole different thing. And that is what the agenda is. And it is constant. I can't speak for ex-professional footballers. The only thing I've said recently is, and you know what, if I could do an interview with any ex-professional footballer from Manchester United, it would be Paul Scholes. I think he's an absolute genius. However, nobody, and especially not me, is immune to criticism. And I don't like the way Scholes has been outing Valencia and Blind, which I agree with both of those points, but avoiding the issue of Rooney. And also with Scholes, I think, it's quite critical of United, which some of it's right, but it's got a critical edge. Maybe that's because Ryan Giggs was treated badly by the club, and I don't care what anybody says. Ryan Giggs was treated badly by the club. He was promised the job, and they reneged on that deal. I totally understand his frustration, and if you're a mate of his, you can understand that, because Scholesy probably would have been part of his backroom staff. So I understand that resentment. However, as a Manchester United fan, they were right to do that. I think the way they did it was wrong, but there's no way we could have risked Ryan Giggs at this point. We needed to go and get Jose Mourinho, but I understand why he'd be frustrated. But what I don't like from ex-professional footballers is their refusal to say what's blindingly obvious with Manchester United this season. I think you can't criticise any player, whether it's Fellaini, Blind, whoever, before you've criticised Rooney, because he is the captain of the club and he has been the worst player on the pitch. So that's my issue with that. But Alvin says, is Marshall a one-season wonder? No. Mark, I think Roy Keane saying Guardiola is the special one is out of order, says Jake. I agree with you, but that's what you get with Keano. He's a legend. But you know what? I always say this as well. Obviously, I'm not always right, and I say that. But don't ever fall into the trap that well-paid pundits who are professional footballers or were professional footballers, what comes out their mouth is right. Most of them couldn't manage a football club and would fail. They were very good footballers, but what comes out of their mouth doesn't mean it's like what came out of their feet, is what I'm trying to say. So, you know, I love Roy Keane. Again, I'd love to interview him, probably punch him in the mouth, but a fantastic player. Probably my favourite player of all time is Roy Keane, that I've physically seen. And I'd love him to be in that team now, because we wouldn't have any of this nonsense. But what he comes out without in his interviews, or as a pundit, I think we can all agree some of it is just wild. None more so than Luke Shaw's injury last year when he said it was a good tackle. Mark, this is from Brezemniak. Mark, what do you say that United has the least... I know what you're saying. Yeah, so we've run the least amount of miles as a team compared to any other side in the Premier League. What do I say to that? You know what? It can't be all about the players, but I do think the players have got a lot to live up to. I think we said this last year when Van Gaal was sacked, and we all wanted him to be sacked. But we did say this season is more about the players, because you can't go. You know, Moyes was a poor manager, so if you played badly under him tactically, you can understand it. Van Gaal was a dictator, you can understand that. Jose, I think 3 times and you're out. You can't play badly under 3 managers and not have eyes looking at you as a player. David Beckham is a legend and he doesn't hate us, says Daniel Fordham. I don't think any of the you know, let's use Keane, Scholes or the class of '92. I don't think any of them hate Manchester United. I think they may all have their own agendas for different reasons because of the way their mates have been treated. You don't know what goes on. People say that, you know, some of the class of '92 haven't taken a pop at Rooney because he's their mate. I don't know whether that's true. I don't know whether that's true at all. I think Roy Keane's got a lot of rightful resentfulness to the club, because I think he was kicked out of it. He's the most successful captain in our history, and he was basically Sir Alex Ferguson on the pitch, and there was a big reason we were successful. He deserved to be treated better by the club, but there's that fallout with Sir Alex, and it comes down to rank, doesn't it? Why the hell is Rooney playing as a striker, says Anmol. I sort of agree with it. When is kickoff, says Hals. We are about half an hour off it. Time is flying by. Matthew Rose has asked that question as well. Jose's past it, says DJ Business Cake 1. Somebody tweeted me today and said, Mark, you know what? I can't wait until... I think I tweeted out something along, disgusted by the press, back your manager, and it got quite a few interactions. And somebody said, I can't wait for it to work out. I very rarely put, deal in certainties and say this will happen. I've sort of put my neck on the line with Fellaini many a time, and even when Jose said, I'm going to make you love him, to the fans, I said I can't see it happening, and I think that's happened over the last couple of games. I don't care what anybody says. People have said, oh, surely you're going to do a video saying how well Fellaini's doing. No, I don't. I think Fellaini's all heart and very little ability, and he's not a defensive midfielder. Fellaini's a number 10, and we don't need that sort of number 10. He's not a midfielder. He's not quick enough, not mobile enough, and not intelligent enough. Fellaini I've always been quite consistent on. Van Gaal I was consistent on from last year. I said he's not going to work out. Jose I'm going to be consistent on and say he will turn this round. I think we may have to go further down. There may be more troughs than there are peaks, but we will get there. And it might not be this season. I firmly believe we'll win the league in the next 2 years. This year already might be a big ask. It's not impossible because we lost a couple of games. I just think there's big problems in that Manchester United squad in relation to the players. And I think he brought 4 players in. He brought very strong players in the likes of Zlatan. and Zlatan will back Jose to the hilt. But there might be a civil war at United in relation to players and egos. And if that happens, the manager shouldn't get the blame for that, because these players, as I said, have been here for 3 years underperforming. And if they think for 1 minute, I personally am going to back them over the manager, they're very much mistaken. He's only just started, and people are moaning because he was swearing at Luke Shaw and he outed Mkhitaryan and Lingard after the derby. The only issue I would have with that is why he didn't say it about Rooney as well, because these are players being paid hundreds of thousands of pounds per week. And you know what? If your boss tells you off because you do it wrong, tough luck. Thomas from Denmark, love the United stand. Thank you. Great. Please do drop us a like while you're live. We normally try and get 1,000 likes before kickoff. And if you've ever watched a watch along before, it is massively all about you lot. So it's all interaction, especially when the game gets going. Really want to see what's going well. There's a lot to watch tactically in this game. How Rooney's doing up front as a number 9. How Carrick's doing. I really think Carrick is going to grab hold of that team. And if you're new to the United stand, I know we tend to pick up a lot of new viewers from the watch-alongs. Subscribe to the channel. I think the button is in the bottom right corner. We do a lot of live content, and you'll get a notification every time we go live. And obviously, it's all free as well. So please do get involved. It is your channel, and it is all about you. And very quickly, this is a real shout out. I put it out on Twitter. We are playing in a 5-a-side tournament October the 9th in London, Shepherd's Bush, and we've got a United stand team. Unfortunately, a lot of the United stand are not available. I've got 4 players. If you are a decent footballer and you can get to London, or you live in the London area and you're a United fan, please email us at soccerboxtv@gmail.com. That's soccerboxtv@gmail.com. If you're a half decent player, drop us an email. We're looking for a couple more to join us for that tournament. I think there's some decent teams in that, and I haven't played for a while, so I'm looking forward. It will go up on the YouTube channel, so that'd be great. Score predictions. Camera Phil says Northampton 3, Manchester United 0. Thomas has liked the video. Thank you very much. Jose should give Bastian a chance. Thank you, Antonio. I'm really glad that you made that comment. Another thing I disagree with him about. I back the manager, like I said. I do back the manager, but it doesn't mean I'll agree with everything he does. You know what? I think it's a real sad state of affairs, the way Schweinsteiger's been treated. And it's clearly not him leaking this stuff out. There's somebody who's probably playing tonight who's leaking stuff out about the manager, and they should be kicked in the reserves. Maybe he doesn't know who it is, but that can be the problem. Sometimes you've got a snake in the unit and you don't 100% know who it is. Rohan says, Mark, what would be your first choice 11? Dyer. Right back is always difficult, Valencia's not a right back. I don't think we've got a right back that you can nail down and say, yeah, that should be our right back. So, I don't know. Right back's so difficult. I'd probably go Darmian, even though he's woefully out of form and Jose doesn't fancy him. You know what? Should we go Fosu Mensah? Because I just don't think Valencia's a right back. So my centre backs would be Bailey and Smalling. My left back would be Luke Shaw. My midfield, as things stand at the moment, you've got to play. There's only one player who can play that defensive midfield position, and Schneiderlin's not up to it at the moment. It would have to be Carrick. I'd have Pogba, obviously, as the box-to-box midfielder. I'd put Mkhitaryan at number 10. I'd put Rashford on the right. I'd put Martial on the left. I'd put Zlatan up front. That would be my team. I think the one big position is right back, where we're really struggling. I've seen you, John. You're not getting away with it. John Iarty, very right about his opinions from Van Gaal very early on. But Mark, oh no, he's on. I thought you were going to say something about Jose. Then I saw 4 letters. John says, Mark, can you please explain to me why Rojo is still at the club? He's an embarrassment to all professional footballers. I can't, John. You know what I think about Rojo. I've said it many a time. He doesn't discriminate. He will get skinned by anybody, whether it's Messi or a Northampton Town right winger. He's awful. As a defender, he's awful. He either jumps in and gets skinned, or he backs off and gives people too much time to shoot. Why is he still at the club? Maybe we can't sell him. I don't know. Again, this is where I think, I would be critical of Jose slightly, in the fact that we could have been playing Borthwick Jackson tonight. I don't know whether, I don't really have the time to be going looking around what people are doing on loan. And certainly as a defender, he doesn't stand out that much. But is Borthwick Jackson actually playing for Wolves at the moment? Does anybody know that? Because if he is, that's not a bad thing to be playing week in, week out. He's probably getting more than that. But I can't answer that question, John, is honestly the truth. I mean, I do not know why we are picking Marcus Rojo. He's an absolute joke. But then again, who else plays at left back? I thought, you know, maybe play Daley Blind there tonight, but he's playing a centre back, isn't he? Because Bailly needs a rest. We're thin. Let's be honest. We are thin, aren't we? We are a bit thin on the ground when it comes to defenders. Again, this always happens at this time of year. If Smalling picked up an injury, we'd be down to Blind and Bailly. That's why it was so important that we kept Bailly, because if we hadn't, then we'd have been all sorts of problems, wouldn't we? So yeah, I totally agree with you about Rojo there, mates. Man of the match a week ago, he's been very good, says Tammy Harold. A few of you, epic toast of fish, brilliant. You never disappoint me, the United Stand Army. Obviously keeping an eye on him, and I'm glad that he's doing well. I saw that they got stuffed last week, but then I think they won away at Newcastle. So yeah, that's good to hear that he's doing well. Thank you very much for that. What was I doing? I'm trying to multitask a little bit. I just wanted to. I always try and do this, and I always go to a very particular website to do it. It's basically, I want to see what odds you get on a Manchester United win tonight, because the bookies very rarely get it wrong. If I was the bookie, I'd be putting it at about 1.4 decimal. Let's have a look what they're doing. 1.2. God, there you go. Then they are massively on to win it then, which is interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, let's take a quick look at what's going on there. Shame we have not watched ones. Okay, so the team, for those who, a couple of asking, I know it's going below, but obviously Romero and Go, Fozo Menza, looking forward to that. Blind and Smalling, centre-backs, Rojo. The midfield is the big thing. As I said probably about half an hour ago now, Carrick, Schneiderlin and Herrera is actually a better midfield than Pogba, Fellaini and Rooney. Not because Pogba's not better than all of them, but just because Fellaini's so slow and he's not a defensive midfielder, and Rooney's been a waste of time. So I'm excited to see that midfield. Rooney's playing at number 9, Young's playing on the right, Memphis on the left. And Zlatan's on the bench with Rashford, just for those who were wondering about that. So, yeah, I am happy about it. Take some of your comments. Mark, don't you think Fellaini can do a job if we remove Rooney from the team? Without Rooney, we have a good attacking team, and then it doesn't matter that Fellaini is bad on the ball, says Thomas. I think that's a really... a wrong attitude to have, Thomas, and not that I'm calling you out. I think it's a really good comment because I've highlighted it to speak about it. But Fellaini's all effort, and I think a lot of people like that. But ultimately, I'd be all effort in a Manchester United shirt. I'm sure all you would be, but we'd come up short because we're not good enough. Obviously, Fellaini's a better footballer than us lot, but he's not a Manchester United defensive midfielder. And I keep saying this: if you put Fellaini in your team week in week out, you won't win the title. He's not disciplined enough to play defensive midfield for a start. He runs away from his position too much because he isn't one. He's too slow, he's not good enough on the ball, and he's not good enough at reading the game. I'm baffled why Jose's playing him there. I really am. I don't understand it. I think he'll persist with it. I think it will cause us problems up against the better sides. We can probably still beat Leicester. We can probably beat the likes of Bournemouth and everybody with Fellaini as a defensive midfielder. But when you want to play the decent teams, he's going to cause us problems. You're right in one sense. If you got rid of Rooney and you played like Herrera and Pogba ahead of him, that would help him out a hell of a lot. But Rooney, Fellaini and another, whoever it is suicide in the midfield, as we've seen this season so far. So that would be my answer. Fellaini shouldn't be in a Manchester United shirt. I don't think I'll ever be proved wrong on that. Mickey's still injured, says Dav okay. I think so. I think he is. What happened to live comments on the video? It's on the video. It's right next to you. It's in the black box. Are people not seeing what I'm seeing tonight? Comments are frozen. All right, sorry. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know about that. They should start moving now. Yeah, they are. Sometimes they freeze because I hit it. Zlatan's on the bench. Yep, Sonny. We should sign Matuidi for Pogba. Arad. I think he means Matuidi to play with Pogba. Yes, definitely we should do. What we need in that defensive midfielder, and this is where Carrick doesn't work either. They need to be fast. They need to be breaking up the play, and they need to be disciplined. Matuidi, Kante, that sort of player. Fellaini, no. Carrick in the short term, yes. RME line have sorted that out. We don't need a defensive midfielder against these tonight. No, we don't. But it's not just about tonight, though, is it? I think if we took tonight as a game where we can win it by just attacking, we would be missing a trick. We need to treat tonight as a lead into Leicester, into this is how I want it to work. You know, football isn't like that. You know, you could just go and say, let's go toe-to-toe with Northampton and we'll beat them because we've got the better players. But you've always got to look at the next game as well. And it's another opportunity to be drilling in what the tactics should be. So, yeah, definitely, I've got no issue with us playing a defensive midfield today because I think that's important. Okay, I know what that's all about. Just very quickly, somebody just sent me the Gary Neville thing because I couldn't remember it. And basically, it was picking up on that thing that the dressing room leak last night. Some people are saying, oh, it could just be nonsense. Gary Neville said, absolutely not. I can sense a piece that's had info passed on and one that's speculative. You know, Gary Neville's been at the club all his life. He's been captain of the club, and he's basically saying somebody's leaking that from the dressing room, which is appallingly disgusting. I'd love the person to be outed and kicked out of the club. And as I said before, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Martial, Rooney, Carrick, all players that I like. Yeah, I do like Rooney. I know that shocks you. I've got nothing against Rooney. He's been a great player. He's not anymore. As I said last night on Fan TV, Gary Neville, back to him. He came back from an injury. He played half against Stoke. He should have been sent off. He got subbed off at half time and he retired because he was like, Manchester United means too much to me for me to mug it off and think about Gary Neville. And he retired. And that, you know, I'm not saying Rooney should retire. I think he's just not good enough for Manchester United anymore. Honesty. Let's have a look at some more of your comments. We need a stronger squad for today. We need to win today. Imagine if we lost today. The FIFA player, if Rooney scores a hat-trick, he'll equal Charlton's record. It's a very, very good point. What if Rooney breaks the record tonight? How would you feel about that? I think it's sad what's happened, and I was saying this last night as well. I think it's sad what's happened, and it is unprecedented to the tide of turn when it comes to Wayne Rooney, and I think I think there's a feeling that he's bigger than the club, and nobody would like that, especially at Manchester United. Nobody's going to like to see that. So people have turned against him. I think some of it's probably gone a little bit personal when it didn't need to, but the reality is it was a shocking performance on Sunday, and he deserves to be dropped. But it doesn't matter, does it? The reality is he is only 3 goals away from breaking the record, and if he broke that record tonight, I've just seen him walking on there with a little smile on his face. I don't dislike the guy. I don't dislike him. I like him. I just don't. I judge players on what they do on the pitch for Manchester United. It's been shocking. If he break that, if he gets a cup, if he breaks that record, it will obviously give him a little bit more grace, I think, with fans, and it will be recognised for what he's done in the past. I'm sure, Wayne Rooney's a professional footballer. I'm sure deep down, or not even that deep down, in private, he's probably not very happy that he's about to break one of the biggest things in football in our history, and he might do it with a huge swathe of Manchester United support not happy with him. So yeah, if Rooney scores a hat-trick, I'm definitely going to shag my landlord's wife, says Henry G. Jeremy XE, Mark, who do you Man United to best partner? Who do you think should partner Pogba? And then I think it was Irish Red saying glad to see Carrick back. I'm a massive fan of Carrick. I think I know Kevin on the channel is as well. I think most of us are. I love Carrick, so it's great to see him play when he's been missing out for so long. It's odd. Who should play with Pogba? Well, Pogba's the box-to-box midfielder, so I know a lot of people say Herrera, but that would mean you're playing Herrera at number 10 because Herrera can't be the defensive midfielder. I think at the moment when I look at our squad, I think we missed a trick. We should have gone and got Matuidi because Pogba needs somebody behind him who isn't Fellaini because he's too slow, which is hypocritical to say Carrick's too slow, but football's not always about speed, it's about positional sense. And Carrick's got the best positional sense out of any midfielder in world football. Certainly, sorry, not world football, but in the Premier League. So Carrick could play there. I think Schneiderlin's the ideal one if he could find some form, which he just doesn't seem to have been able to find in a Manchester United shirt at all. Or Schweinsteiger. So for me, it would be Pogba, it would be Schneiderlin, Schweinsteiger, or Carrick behind him, and then Mkhitaryan or Mata ahead of him as the number 10. Is what I would do. We need pace in this team v Leicester. I think, RME online there. Leicester's going to be a massively tough game. They are. They've not had a great start, but they had a dream fantasy last year to make them champions. They're not really champions. They are, but they're not going to make a realistic effort to be champions. But they're not going to be a bottom half of the table side either. They're a decent side. And they will come and they will give us a game on Saturday, and we aren't a decent side at the moment, so I'm very worried about that Leicester game. I'm not going to be Jose out if we lose. I think that's the state of affairs that he faces at the moment. I think he's got a very, very difficult job. There's dressing room unrest, there's players bang out of form, the transfer window is shut. He probably wishes he'd done a couple of things differently in that transfer window now, but you don't find out the men from the boys until the season starts. He could save face and bring Schweinsteiger back in. I don't think he will. Let's have a look what he's got to say.
It's a big match. You are in or you are out.
Yeah, so he could have brought Schweinsteiger back.
Minutes after 2 hours, and it's always important.
Your team selection tonight sees Wayne Rooney in the number 9.
Talking about Rooney.
We've not seen a lot of him in recent times. What do you want?
Number 9, Wayne Rooney. Goals.
Anything more?
Goals.
He wants
You hope
goals.
he sort of might be able to play himself back into form.
I hope he scores goals.
He hopes he scores goals.
Have you seen much of them? What do you know about them?
I like this from Jose. He's giving short answers. You can tell he's not very happy. He's going to be under a huge... I've got so much time for him. He's under a huge lot of stress. If you've been a manager yourself, and I'm not just talking about managing a club, managing whatever. And, when you've got people who are, blindsiding you, not performing, speaking behind your back, causing you issues, it's not nice. It causes a lot of stress. And so I've got a lot of sympathy for him. I want him to do well. You know what? I'm even looking at Rooney there. I'm thinking, you know what? This is nothing personal, mate. If you can bang a hat-trick in today, it'll cause me an issue because you're going to break the Bobby Charlton's record. Or does he level up with it? I don't know. But I just want us to win. Ultimately, I want Manchester United to do well. I want us to win. When they're showing there on the pitch, you've got Carrick and Rooney running next to each other. I love Michael Carrick. They are massive mates. They are a massive influence in the dressing room. Rooney's running around with a smile on his face. You can read that one or two ways. One, he's just trying to keep himself calm and relaxed, which is what I think. Or two, I'm on 300 grand a week. Do you think I give a shit what the fans say? I know some of you will think that. I think the former. I think, he's going to go out there and try and prove himself wrong. I think if he can't prove himself tonight against Northampton, he's got massive, massive issues. This is a League One side. And let's have a listen to what Phil's got to say.
Performances do need to improve, and it seems ridiculous with his record. He's only 3 goals behind Bobby Charlton, saying he's got something to prove. But Mourinho very clear what he wants tonight. Goals.
I don't know who the presenter is on Sky, but I know he used to do Blue Peter, and I think he should go back to Kids TV. I mean, he just basically said it's ridiculous. He's 3 goals off Sir Bobby Charlton, and he's still got things to prove. Well, of course he's got things to. I mean, people don't understand this. Every day of your life, no matter what you are or who you are, whether you're successful or not, you've got a point to prove. You don't just go in and rest on your laurels, and especially not as a Manchester United player. But like Phil Neville just said there, he's got to improve. He's got to improve. Everybody, it's probably as much as you're going to get from an ex-Manchester United player when it comes to Wayne Rooney, but it's true. Riff MM wants to work for United Stand. Hasham, line up, Mark, line up. Hassam, I don't know whether anybody's having a problem with this, but there's a yellow thing below me that's moving along. That is the lineup, but I will give it for you. It is... Pratak says I'm fat. I'm far from fat, mate. I'm in training for the five-a-side thing now. Soccerboxtv@gmail.com if you want to play for us on the 9th of October. It's a Sunday. It's in London. If you're decent at football, we need a five-a-side team. We've got 4. We need a couple more. The team is Romero in goal. Fosu Mensah excited. Smalling and Blind, centre backs. Rojo left back. Carrick holding the midfield with Schneiderlin and Herrera ahead of him. Rooney up front. Ashley on the right. Memphis excited on the left. So lots to be excited about. We are sort of approaching that time, I know, where we start to talk about what we're going to look for in this game. This is a watch-along. I'm sure most of you know what a watch-along is now. We can't show you live footage of the game. It is illegal. However, what we can do is we can sync in. There'll be a timer. I don't know why I'm pointing at my screen. Where above my head, where it says Norwich and 0-0 with Manchester United, what we do is, he says... I'll sort that out in a minute. Oh, no, there it is. What we do is we'll start the clock. We'll start the clock when the game kicks off. And the timer will start above my head there. So we are a live stream, so it's never going to be exactly right. There's always a delay with a live stream. So if you're watching it at home, just pause when it kicks off, sync in with us, and then that's where the fun starts, because we've got all you lot in the live comments. Manchester United fans, you asked us to do a watch along because you were like, I get so frustrated watching Manchester United at home with nobody to interact with. That's what this is, the United Stand. It's all about you. It is fan opinion. We watch the game together. We comment on it. So what I'm looking for from you is, per usual, while the game is on, give us your thoughts. The things I like to read out, and I'll read out as much as I can, but the things I like to read out are the tactical stuff. Who's doing well, who's doing what, where it's going wrong, where it's going right, what will you improve, who you're happy with and who you're not happy with, those sort of things. What am I going to be looking at throughout this game? Some tactical things, some not tactical. Players-wise, there's probably a handful I'll be looking at. Fosu Mensah definitely at right back. Really want to see him do well. See if he's improved from last year. He did well last year in a couple of games. He was probably man of the match. Same for Memphis on the left. Starting from the left, obviously. But starting a game, which he hasn't done. It's a big opportunity for him. He's got to grasp these opportunities. Who else? Rooney as a number 9. He's not in the midfield. Hooray. If he does it as a number 9, great. I still think he'll be dropped on Saturday. And Carrick as the midfield holder. He's very old. He is on the decline. He's a short-term fix, but I still think he's better than Fellaini, and I'll be watching what Carrick does, which will basically be giving stability and positional sense to our midfield and allowing those ahead of him the confidence to express themselves, and those behind him the protection that they require that they didn't get from basic pull-back crossers on the weekend, and also be taking the ball off the back foot. So that's what I'm looking for. I always say the number 10 and the defensive midfielder is really important. Number 10 not so much so today. Is important, but I've got confidence in Herrera. But definitely the Carrick position is important, and they're the things I'll be looking for. Don't know about you lot. I probably should ask you lot as well. And also, if you want to tell us where you're watching from, I always like to do that. Epic Toaster Fish, I hope Carrick has a massive game. Me too. Kira Glan has gone Man United 4, Northampton Town 0. I don't know why I'm going like that. Thank God he's not in the midfield. Yeah, big positive there, Carmichael. Twan CB says Philmon. Would like to have seen him play, to be honest, but I think at the moment the club's in such a mess. And I think Jose said himself he can't play the youth he'd like to play because he's got too many experienced players in his squad. Too many as far as I'm concerned, for many reasons. One, I think some of them need to go. They've been part of failure for 3 years. And two, I think too much experience causes you issues in the dressing room. And we've seen that, haven't we, over the last 24 hours. Jeremiah's an Arsenal fan. With Schneiderlin, Carrick, Herrera in midfield, I predict Manchester United to win. Hope Mourinho learns from that about his midfield. Yeah, it's a good point. Well done. And as, fans of all other clubs are welcome on here, as long as you don't start talking about silly things. But, if you want to just talk football, that's great. Jinnish is watching from India, and Ben Johnson's watching from Melbourne. It must be ridiculous o'clock there because Callum's coming on at half time, and I know he's had to set his alarm clock. Where is Schweinsteiger, says Chatix. He's probably playing FIFA at home or something, or tennis. Rooney might as well play as a centre-back because he goes too deep, says the FIFA player. All right, Mark, says Paul Jones. Yes, I am. How are you? We've got people watching from North Korea, David Daly. I don't believe you on that one, mate. Anmar, South Africa. Hello from Sweden, says Fakwa. Make or break for Rooney today, says Sabodino. You know what? I don't think it is. I think Rooney's had his chat. If I'm manager, and I'm not. If I'm manager, I would have played Rooney tonight, and I'd be like, you can play at number 9 tonight. And if Rooney scores a hat-trick tonight as number 9, I'd say, well done, Wayne. You're on the bench on Saturday because Latan's my number 9. You're not going back into the midfield because you've been appalling there for the last few games, and I can't afford to risk 3 points again. So I think whatever Rooney does tonight, if I'm the boss, he doesn't play on Saturday. What he can do tonight is show me that he's still got the fight, passion and ability to be a first team player when I need him. But you've had your chance in the midfield, you blew it, you're not playing there again. You can show me what you can do as a number 9, but you won't be playing on there on Saturday even if you score 5 goals tonight because I've got Zlatan. But I want him to score. It'd be great if he scored 5 goals because the more players we've got in form, and the most important thing from tonight, the more confidence we've got in our team, 100% the better for Manchester United. So, I can't see, but Jose's the manager. And what I would say as well is if Rooney does play on Saturday lunchtime, if Rooney does play on Saturday lunchtime, then he's going to be. I think you've really. I was going to tweet this out later in the week as a bit of a controversial tweet, but I really do think if Rooney plays on Saturday, you can probably start to more or less confirm the theory and fear that there is something in his contract that says if he's fit, he has to play. I'll leave it at that because I think even Jose will drop him on Saturday. And I do. Oh, I hope you didn't hear that. I didn't mean to. I popped onto it, wrong channel. Let's go back to the United stand. If you're new to the United stand, we are very close to kick off now. Please do click the subscribe button and the like button. It is your channel. This is massively when we do the watch along. It's all about you lot, as you can see. And if you're new to the channel, please do click the subscribe button. We're live every Sunday night with a weekend review at 8:30. We do live previews. We're live with the watch along for every Manchester United game, interacting with you. We've got daily content, and if you subscribe, it is free, but you'll get notifications every time we go live, which a lot of people like. So please hit the subscribe and please like, because I might be on the screen, but you're on the screen as well. And when we do the watch alongs, it's a massive amount of work for me, but also you help me through it with some of the brilliant comments you come out with. So if you drop the video a like, you're liking yourself and you're giving yourself a pat on the back as well. So please do that. And also, we are getting very close to kick off. So if you could share, tweet, whatever out the link, that would be very much appreciated. Very close to kick off. Just looking at the Northampton town lineup. Beauty man, centre back, Revel in goal. I love Revels. And we know our team because we've spoken about it loads of times. Woo! I'm still with you. I'm taking a little bit of a breath. This is the problem with me doing it. 4th round draw. I think Manchester United might get Norwich. That's from B. Davidson. When is the 4th round draw? Is it at half time? Young Sparks has just subscribed. You get a shout out if you subscribe to the channel. That's for sure. Thanks very much for that. We're trying to get 50,000 subscribers by Christmas, which would be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And totally down to you lot. The match is about to start, you're right, so I do need to go to my timer. It is a watch along, so obviously we can't show you the footage of the game. Watch it however you can, but sync in with our timer and give us your thoughts on the game. I'm excited. I'm looking at Fosu Mensah, I'm looking at Memphis, I'm even looking at Rooney. What can he do as a number 9? Can he find some sort of form, because he's not a midfielder. And the midfield, while I talk about it, is a massive thing. Carrick, Schneidlin, Herrera, 3 players that for varying reasons we would probably all want to be in the Manchester United side. Pogba comes in, they can't all 3 play, but if they all 3 play well tonight, it gives him a message, because I don't think Fellaini should be in the team. Manchester United on Bet365, we're not sponsored by them by any means. We're 1.20 decimal to win this game, so they're massively favourites with the bookies. We can't contemplate a loss. We're backing the manager. We're 100% behind the manager. I had my rant about half an hour ago, didn't I? Saying I'm disgusted with the press. Have no illusions. They are trying to force the fans against Jose because they want him out. We've got to stand together. It starts now. There's a little hug from Northampton. I'm excited by this. I'm glad it's not at Old Trafford, because it'll be a full packed ground in Northampton against Manchester United. They'll fight. We've not been fighting enough. We need to see some of that. Bring it on, bring it on, bring it on. Us against the world with Jose, backing the manager. Let's do it. Referee's just counting to 10. Probably got some homework to get in tomorrow. Let's do it, boys. I'll hit the timer as soon as we are I'm watching it with this, so you can sink in, just pause it and be up to date with us. Referee's not kicked it off yet. We are a bit late, to be honest. And Rooney's going to obviously kick it. We're off. There we go. So we are off. No shocks in the team at all, as we said. Fozo Mensah is playing as a right back. Smalling's playing in the right-sided centre-back position, which is probably quite an interesting observation to make straight away, because that's where Bay's been playing. And that could account for a little bit of problems with Smalling, that he's used to playing that right-sided position. You've got Rojo at left-back. Jose is already marauding and surveying his technical area. Carrick sitting in front of the back four, which is what he does brilliantly. Rooney with a little layoff there to Rojo. Wasn't really a layoff, it hit his knee. Memphis is playing on the left, Young on the right, and Schneiderlin and Herrera. I'll be honest with you folks, I've got no time for Ashley Young. Harsh but fair, but I'll always say what I think. No time for him at all. I think he should have gone in the summer. I don't see what a 31-year-old on over 100 grand a week, who's probably shouldn't even be on our bench, offers Manchester United. He's on the decline as well. I think those sort of players need to leave our club, to be honest. But we're playing a League One side. It's probably about his level. But already Carrick there, taking the ball off and doing something Fellaini can't. He found Memphis in the box. He could have laid that off. It should be 1-0. Oh, it's straight at the keeper from Rooney. But that's the brilliance of Carrick already. Absolutely brilliant already. Fellaini can't do that. From defensive midfield, it's taken him less than a minute. A 40-yard pass. But, you know, I understand what people say. It is only Northampton. Andrew Jackson, 42. Rojo is probably the dressing room leak. Well, he probably isn't, because he didn't play under Sir Alex Ferguson. Whoever the dressing room leak isn't the brightest. So you might start to... That might narrow it down a little bit more. Whoever the dressing room leak isn't the brightest. Rooney won it back there, to be fair. Herrera, corner ball. Imagine if we scored a corner, that would be nice. We haven't scored a corner since last November. Bastian, we miss you, mate. Yeah, it's not going to be Rojo who's the dressing room leak, because they're quoting that Jose's worse than Sir Alex Ferguson, so that narrows it down quite quickly. I think a lot of people think it's Rooney. Saeed says, Mark, how to stay positive during this period of time as a Manchester United fan? You stay positive because you believe in the manager, which is what I do. He's the right man. And you stay positive because you don't underestimate the massive job that needs to be done. We've got a massive job to do. You know, there are massive problems. And the fact that there's dressing room leaks show you that it's not all been the managers. I mean, Van Hal and Moyes were horrific. They'll never get any sympathy from me. But it's not all them. The players have got a lot of things to look at. You know, they've earned millions out of this club over the last 3 years. And very few of them have done anything very decent, have they? So, yeah, I do stay positive because I think he's the right man in charge, and I think he will get it right. KJ Godham says, Mark, apparently it's Pogba causing problems in the dressing room. Doubt it. I think that's just an absolute rubbish conspiracy theory, because he was a kid when Sir Alex was there. Ridiculous. It isn't Pogba. And Pogba's got no relationship with the British press. It's not Pogba. That's ridiculous. Don't let things like that. Again, this is just... It's all little rumours sent out to try and throw you off the case and cause more problems. What relationship has Pogba got with the British press? He's only just arrived. Whoever's leaked it has been in this country for a long time, has got a very good list of contacts in the English press, because it's in more than one paper, and they also were part of Sir Alex Ferguson's team. So I can give you the list of names who it is. I don't know who it is. I've got a good idea, but I wouldn't be shouting it out. Oh, lovely by Carrick. It's a joy to watch. I know it is only Northampton, but he's just getting the ball and dictating the play, and that's what we miss. I just don't understand why. And I think he will play Fellaini on Saturday, by the way. I don't understand why he does it, because it's just much better. I mean, they're showing Jose a look, and he looks very, very uptight. But don't feel uptight, Jose. We're all behind you, most of us. And you know, I'll back you. You can throw any player out of that club, however many you like, and I'll back you. Is he going to show the game? Footballer Hour in 98. No, it's a watch along. We don't show you the game. It's illegal for us to show you the game. We are the biggest independent Manchester United fan channel. We're not about to start showing live footage of a Manchester United game and getting shut down. It's a watch along. A load of people asked us to do it. We've been doing it for a while now. Watch it by however means you want to watch it. Don't watch it, just interact. But the whole point is that you watch it and you interact with Manchester United fans rather than the dull and biased commentary that you are getting at the moment, unfortunately. Michael Carrick is a genius, Mark, says Aidan Landsberg. He 100% is. He's superb, absolutely superb. And we did predict it, many of us, that this game would be totally different with Michael Carrick dictating the midfield. I mean, this should be a walk in the park for him at this level anyway, but it's just good to see him. And most of his balls are just, he is just a joy to watch. He's hitting long passes that Fellaini just can't do. Here's Memphis with a bit of a chance out in the left wing at the moment. I mean, he's just tearing his man apart. This should be 1-0. He's over it slightly. Carrick will hit this. Oh, I think it hits Rooney. Ashley Young on the follow-up. Oh, Rooney! I hope that was offside. Was it offside? It's a great chance. Memphis down the left. Dances past his man a couple of times. Pulls it back. Nobody there. Herrera lays it off. Carrick hits it. It's not offside. Hits Rooney. Ashley Young with the pullback. And Rooney misses. Oh, God. Rooney is not going to do himself any favours there. Five yards out. It's a bad miss, but he's going to get a lot of this. You know, this isn't a Premier League game. He'll get a lot of opportunities tonight. I'm not jumping on Rooney's back tonight. I don't think he can. I think he'll score tonight, and you'll get. I knew you would. Get Rooney off. My nan could have scored that. Good comment. I've missed the name who said it. Carrick should start on Saturday, says Kronos. I mean, the problem is we're all going to be, you know, lauding up Carrick tonight, but I don't think he can actually play on Saturday because I just don't think he's got the fitness levels, which is the shame. But yeah, I think you know, the priority should be 3 points on Saturday, and I think if you play Carrick as a defensive midfielder, we win 3 points. I think if you play Fellaini there, it's up in the air. I think we can do it, but what you get from Carrick as a defensive midfielder and what you get from Fellaini, I mean, even Schneiderlin there, he came deep, he played a 40-yard pass. Fellaini can't do it. I don't know what Rooney's doing there, jumping over a pass, but I've always loved Michael Carrick. If you watch the United stand, you'll know that. I just like what he does. He always wants the ball, and he's always, you know, it's a 30-yard pass, but he's like he's passing it 2 yards. It's just second nature to him. Absolutely superb start by Carrick. And exactly what we've missed. There we go. And whatever you think about Fellaini, he just can't do that. It's not in his locker. You know, if football was played and you got 3 points for how many times you could control it brilliantly on your chest, then Fellaini would have us top of the league. But that's not what it is. And as SAF 2008 says there, Carrick equals Rolls Royce. He does. Alex Howell's on about Schweinsteiger. No, Schweinsteiger isn't playing. You're 30 seconds behind the live Sky coverage, says Nathan Harper. Well, I did say that. That's why we have the timer in the corner, so that you can pause your coverage if you wish and get the full experience out of a watch along and sync in with us. But we will never be synced in with Sky. I am as I'm watching it, but obviously you're probably getting what I'm saying now 30 seconds later. But there is no stream that will put it out live per second anyway. So apologies for that. It is a watch along. If you want to buy into what a watch along is, then sink in. But with the options there. Jason Garbett, Carrick equals Rolls Royce, Rooney equals Robin Reliant. I'm going to give it a few more minutes, Jason, and I might nick that and tweet it. So you're part of the United stand. Your tweet will be on the United stand. Sorry, you're part of the United stand army. Your tweet will be on the United stand Twitter account very soon. Very good. And if anybody else wants to do funny little things like that, hey, I'll tell you what, Jason, you've given me a new idea there. It's always very difficult for me to be typing and tweeting and doing the watch along. So if I see good little funny things like that, then I will just copy and paste and put it out as a tweet. So, you are part of the United stand, as I always say. Carrick is finished as a top level player, says Harry, though, and he's still showing up the crap performers. Fair performer, I think Carrick has got a lot to offer, but I just think, unfortunately, age is catching up with him, isn't it? I wish he was 30 again, because he's exactly what we need at the moment. Somebody said, what do you think about Rooney in the first 10 minutes? Shocking. I didn't expect him to come into it and have a really good first 10 minutes. But I think he'll play his way into this game. And sometimes you've got to do that. I'm convinced he'll score. Because I just think this Northampton team, we look better than them, which we should be. And we've got a lot of composure on the pitch today. I mean, Carrick has just given us so much composure. Daley Blind will as well. And everybody on our team today should, at the end of it, we should be saying 8 out of 10. Because the level they are compared to Northampton, your ability should be shining and making you look a hell of a lot better. There's a good interception by Fosu Mensah there. Rooney's getting a lot of stick. Ashley Young out on the right, over hits the cross, and Rojo's playing forward a lot. Herrera, lovely little ball into Rojo. This should be 1-0. It was a decent cross, and Rooney unfortunately just slid past it. It wasn't any bad play on his part. It's a lovely pass by Herrera that puts Rojo in. But, at this level, this is what should be happening. You should be... Rooney's nowhere near that, to be fair. It's a decent cross. He probably could have put it a little bit... Rooney's never going to get on that, is he? And Hamad says Rooney's crap. Blazing Gun 365. Mark looks pissed off. Sometimes I'm answering stuff while I'm live, which is, I wear my heart on my sleeve. Great to see Fosu Mensah winning the ball back, says Attil. Yeah, it was a good intersection. Depay looks good, says Mad Marcus. Hello, Marcus. I haven't seen you tonight. Moderator on there. I hope you're well. Fosu Mensah is just Bay. His passion encompasses what we want in the team. And what I would say about Rojo, as bad as he is going backwards, and he's not really going to get much problems going backwards tonight, is he? He's more or less playing as a left winger tonight, and he's got a very good delivery, Rojo. So... yeah. I'm happy with that. have a look on Twitter, because I always like to grab a few things from that. I said superb start from Carrick, spraying accurate, fast 30-yard passes about. This is what we need. Some people are saying that Rojo's standing where Memphis should be. And Kareem Sadiq says, Carrick is tailor-made to partner Pogba, even more so after 10 minutes tonight. I think the issue with that is that Carrick will not be fit enough to play on Saturday, having played tonight. What he might want to do is give Carrick 60 minutes and then pull him off. Not in the literal sense, we're not that sort of channel, but you know what I mean. Take him off, keep him fresh for Saturday. If he plays 99 minutes tonight, he ain't going to be playing on Saturday. But I would play him 100%, and I think we'd win. I think if we played Carrick on Saturday, we win the game. What's happening here? Pass back. You only get these sort of things in this league. It's a pass back. He's picked up a pass back. It's poor refereeing, that is. They don't even get given anymore. Any goal's a goal. Nearly said something else then. Rooney's gonna hit everything tonight because he just wants to score. Rohan, Mark, you seem very positive today. I'm very passionate about Manchester United, and I'm very passionate about this press agenda to force Jose out and force Manchester United against our manager. And I back our manager, and that means I want Manchester United to win. I think Rooney will play well tonight. I don't think it means nothing. I think it means nothing that he plays well against the League One side, but I want him to play well because I think an informed Rooney is better. He shouldn't play on Sunday. This free kick's interesting. Daley Blind should be dinking it around the wall into the top corner. That's what I say. And I hope 1,700 of you watching will say, bloody hell, he picked that one out well. Rooney might just try and blast it low, but it should be a little dink, and then he's not going to let him do it. Rooney's just going to hit this, which is not what I would do. It just needs a little chip, and Blind is capable of doing it. There's the gap, and rubbish. Oh, Carrick! What a finish! Get him in the team! Get him in the team! Brilliant! Absolutely brilliant! Carrick is back. Brilliant. He rockets this in. I mean, Rooney will probably claim the assist, but get him in the first team. Get him in the first team. He's got to send a message, hasn't he? That's what we want. Get him in the first team. Brilliant finish. Poor free kick from Rooney. There's the man. We love him on this channel. We love Michael Carrick. Yeah, whether that's a pass back or not. That you get dodgy refereeing. I remember Stuart Atwell. I think he used to be in the Premier League at one point, but who cares? We're 1-0 up. And it's Michael Carrick. Absolutely ecstatic with that. My man Carrick, says Aidan Garner. One player that sort of epitomises the United standing while we've been doing this. So let me just update the scores. That's something I always am slow to do. So I'm anxious to get them done ASAP. 1-0. 1-0. I'm glad it's Carrick who scores as well. Got that one done. Can't always find where they are. That's the problem. There we go. I mean, I'm over the moon that Michael Carrick scored, but I think also the most important thing is it's confidence, isn't it? We get some confidence. You've got defensive midfield is such an important position in the Manchester United side or any side, and if he scores tonight and continues with this performance, there will be an absolute bandwagon of pressure that he should start against Leicester. And I was saying it before the goal. If Carrick continues like this and he looks, up for it, and he looks like, why have I not been played? Good punch by Romero. Get him off after an hour. Get him in the team on Saturday. That's what it's about. It might only be Northampton Town, but if people play well tonight, and remember, it's a partisan crowd. We're away from home. At the moment, we're blinding them with. Look at it. He's just so good. He's just so good. Carrick is just every little pass he's doing. And remember, he's not played a minute this year. I do think Jose's made a mistake there, and it's not something I was saying before. Doesn't mean I back him 100%. I think he'll be the right manager for Manchester United, and I think he's going to succeed. And I can't wait for him to ram it down the press's throat and whoever the dissenter in the dressing room is. But it doesn't mean that just because we back him, he will get it right 100% of the time, and we can't be critical of some of the things he does. Fellaini is the defensive midfielder? No. He should have been playing Carrick more. If he plays Carrick on Saturday, I think we'll win. Menza's a bit shaky, says Paitas. He's a young boy. He needs to play. This is a perfect game for him to play. I'd like to have seen maybe a couple of the other young players in there, but we've got such a massive squad, like Jose says, of experienced players who can't even get on the bench, that tonight has to become about them. I like the fact that Rooney's nowhere near the midfield, and he's just playing up front. I'm not saying he's playing well by any means, but just not part of the midfield helps us massively. But I'm just watching Carrick, and it's a masterclass. I mean, it's a really good tackle by Rooney there. Again, what are you doing there, Wayne? Actually, get up there. He shouldn't be anywhere near there. This is the problem with Rooney. He can't help himself. He's the number 9. I even said good tackle there by Rooney in the centre circle. He's behind Herrera and Schneidlin. He just can't help himself. Get up front as a number 9. It's not your job. It was a good tackle, but it's not. This is the problem. You're getting into people's areas, and that's why there's no continuity in the team. But Carrick's there. He's just dictating the play, and he will do it at this level anyway. Uchi says Carrick is very good. Where would he finish this season? Says LTG131. I'm not being negative. I would probably take 3rd or 4th at the moment, because I think, unfortunately, it looks like Liverpool are going to be up there. Arsenal will be up there. City are obviously going to be up there. So, and I do think we're a massive work in progress. And I think just because you've spent 200 million or how much we've spent, that doesn't mean anything when the squad that you've inherited, has got huge problems, and it has got huge problems. My only concern is that if he's going to drop Rooney, which I think he needs to, him and Carrick get on so well, they should be professionals earning hundreds of thousands of pounds a week, that they just look after their own game and the interests of the fans and the club. But I just hope it's not going to be a case of, oh well, if Carrick play, if you drop my mate, etc. I don't think that would happen. But he's the leader on the pitch. I mean, I've always felt sorry for Rooney. I mean, I'm sure he wanted the captaincy, but he isn't a captain, and I think he does better without the captaincy, because he'll play on the edge a bit. But Carrick's been the leader so far. Tommy Harold makes a good point. Take Carrick off at half-time. Fosu Mensah, the defensive midfielder. If Carrick plays 90 minutes tonight, he won't be playing on Saturday. And I'll put that up as an early thing for you now. Jude Hastings wants a shout out. Jason Garbett, why is Rooney in midfield? Because he just can't help himself. He isn't in midfield most of the time. Like currently he's playing as a number 9, but he just can't help himself. On the other hand, if Rooney gets subbed off after 60 minutes, that might mean he's playing on Saturday. So there's lots of interesting things to keep your eye on in this game. Tony Cool Guy, absolute legend, Carrick. Why is Fellaini starting over him? I don't know. It's a very, very good point. You'll like this one. Just tweeting it out. It's one of my own. You'll get the brilliance of me and my humour if you watch Watchalongs. But I do want some of you to put some up, because I will tweet them out. But I just said, why has Fellaini been being picked over Carrick this season? It's like pouring cold water over your Sunday dinner instead of lovely warm gravy. And it is. I don't care what people say about Fellaini. I don't like him as a footballer. I think he's pretty poor. But there's no doubting that he's got a lot of effort and he tries hard. But I don't really care about that. What I want is somebody who can actually play that position well. And there is nobody better than Carrick. Timbo O'Keefe Murphy saying that the Louis van Gaal effect is still in effect, which it is. Just turned it on from the US, says Arthur Ocho. Remember, if you're new to the United Stand, please do hit that subscribe button. It's free. We do a lot of live content, not just watch-alongs. Sunday Night Live is always a big debate, and we enjoy that. And we have live previews and all sorts. So please do subscribe to the channel and become part of the United Stand, the biggest independent Manchester United fan channel on YouTube. And it is all about you, and it always will be. So please get involved and drop us a like. I'm enjoying this tonight, though. We're 1-0 up early on. Northampton are giving a bit back at the moment, but, you know, you'd expect that. The main thing tonight is to, you know, hopefully get a few goals. And Nathan Harper says, are you married? Why, is that a proposal? Hope Memphis scores. I'm a big fan of him, says Big One. Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, the worst example I can give is Rooney, because we're all fed up with him. We know he's not playing really well. And I suppose you could say, I hope he plays bad again so he's nowhere near the team on Saturday. You know what I think? I hope Rooney gets a couple of goals tonight, because same with Memphis. Probably not going to start on Saturday, but good players in form with confidence on our bench are better than replacing players who aren't playing that well with players on the bench who aren't playing that well. So yeah, I think Memphis has started off quite well. He should do. This is Northampton Town of League One. We are Manchester United, one of the best clubs in the world, on our way back up the mountain, granted. But everyone should be doing well. But while I can't keep repeating this, but Carrick, every time he gets it, he's doing something that I've been saying for a long, long time that Fellaini can't. Fellaini's top-end pass of accuracy, and it's not got much pace on it, is about 10 yards. Carrick's top-end pass is 30 yards. He can hit it longer as well, but, you know, a short pass to Carrick is 30 yards, and he'll do it accurately at speed. That's what you miss, because it takes players out of the game, and Fellaini can't do that. But we're keeping the ball well. I mean, people like Herrera and Schneiderlin not noticed them. That's not a bad thing. It just means they're doing their job, because they're not doing things bad. But everything, I mean, Carrick's just doing everything at the moment, because he's just doing what he should do. Now, what Fellaini would do in that position, we can't see Carrick at the moment. We can't see Fellaini, thank God, either. We can't see Carrick now. He's not in the picture, because he's just sitting back, waiting to pick up any loose ends and be an option to feed the game. And then he gets back into the middle around the centre circle, defending his back four. What Fellaini has been doing is, he'd now be running towards where the referee is if you're watching the game. He'd be now running around the middle of the pitch, not the middle of the pitch, losing his position essentially, that when we get hit on the break, it causes us issues. He hasn't got the discipline. This is away, by the way, so why are you outside Old Trafford, Martin Smith? I'm not literally outside Old Trafford. It's an image. Young seems old. Ryan Horn. I don't know whether that was intentional, but it made me laugh. Why does Rooney always drop into the midfield? He should be in the striker position. Yeah, he can't help himself. We were talking about that. He cannot help himself. Even winning here doesn't mean we are great again, says Haffy. We know, but it gives us confidence, mate, and that's what it's all about. I did say when we started the watch-along a couple of hours ago that no matter what happens tonight, we're on a hiding to nothing. We win 6-0, it's only Northampton. We win 1-0, it's not enough against Northampton. We lose, obviously, we get a load more sticks. So it doesn't matter what happens tonight. It's not going to please everybody, and whatever happens, we'll all be able to say it's only Northampton. What does matter is that some players get some games, get some fitness, get some confidence, and we win the game. And if we do all that, we do all that. And I don't know about you, but every time they go to Jose, I just have this real pang in my heart. I feel so sorry for him. I know he's on millions of pounds a year and he probably doesn't give a shit about me. But as a Manchester United fan, I want him to succeed. He will succeed, and I back him, because I'm just disgusted over the last 24 hours by whoever's leaking stuff from the dressing room, but also the press agenda. They love it. They really want to try and force a man out who's only just started his Manchester United career, and they're quoting stuff about Chelsea and how it's just like Chelsea all over again. Absolute waste of time, and I can't wait for the day when they're all shut down because they become totally irrelevant and have lost touch with fans who are becoming more vocal and more educated in football and don't have to just listen and swallow their constant agenda crap. It's disgusting. That's my bit. Back the manager. Van Halen have a hard on. We've had 70% possession in this game so far. Herrera's moving it around well. Schneiderlin always looks a bit heavy-footed, doesn't he? Give it to Carrick. May as well. Again, it's just a lovely quick pass into feet. Nice little 1-2 from Memphis and Rooney there. Rooney might hit that. But you can remember last season though, Rooney was having problems last year. I'm glad I reminded myself of that. Rooney was having problems last year. Not as bad as this year. You know, I've never seen a performance as bad as the one against Watford. But he was having problems. And then we played Derby away. And he looked really good again. The reason that is because the level of the opposition. That is why everybody tonight should be playing well. It's a competitive game, but it's a game to get a lot of confidence because this isn't Premier League football. These aren't Premier League footballers, so we are Premier League footballers, and we should be making ourselves all look very good. Fosu Mensah! Oh, he's at the bar. Rooney! Offside. Oh, unlucky. I wish Fosu's goal had gone in. It's a lovely little cross. Well, it's like a dinked, weighted, floating ball into the box. Fosu Mensah, hard as you like, heads it against the bar, and Rooney is offside. Shame. Shame that. It's a shame Fosu Mensah didn't go in, is what I would say. I mean, that would be, you know, sort of turning into the perfect night, wouldn't it, if Fosu Mensah scores as well? You know, these are the sort of players that we, you know, as fans, we all know we want him playing, don't we? So if he scores as well and has a great game, Carrick has a great game, it's dreamland. You know, Memphis gets a couple. Carrick can't do it in the Premier League anymore, says Nailbag33. Well, that's very unfair. He's not played in the Premier League yet. You might be right, but I tell you what, I think he'll do it better than Fellaini. If you want to come back on that, I'll await your comment. Mark doesn't trust Jose's team choices. Doesn't seem like 100% back in the manager, says Mickin. Well, I'll throw that to the live comments. You listened to me enough. I think that's a ludicrous comment, to be honest. And I think probably ever since we've got Jose, and certainly tonight, some of the rants I've made, I think it's 100% clear that I probably support the manager more than most Manchester United fans at the moment. 100% behind him. What I will say, and what I will repeat, and what I'll always implore and encourage from you lot is, don't ever not have your own voice. Sir Alex Ferguson, I used to always moan about some of his team selections. Didn't mean I didn't trust him, want him as manager at all. I'm just an opinionated football fan, and that's what football is. It's never going to happen. Jose's never going to pick a team that I'm going to go, I'm really happy with that, because that's not what I'm like as a supporter. That's not what a lot of Manchester United fans are not like. We always have our own opinions. I don't agree with the fact that he's been playing Fellaini. I don't agree with the fact that he kept as many experienced players as he did. I don't agree with the fact that he didn't sub Rooney on Sunday. In fact, I was baffled. But not at one point did I think, he's not the right manager for Manchester United. It's a different sort of thing, that is. That's not... Just because you don't agree with something the manager does, it's not... No, life's not black and white. Just because you don't agree with something doesn't mean you discard it. That's not what it is. It's about opinion. Rooney's always offside, says James Cook. That's probably why he comes so deep, isn't it? So he stays on side. To be honest, this lineup isn't the best. Why not chuck Zlatan on? Says Man United FTW13. No. Rest people like that. Rest people like that. You don't need to play Zlatan in a game like this. Alex, I don't know whether you're taking the piss there. Mad Marcus is saying get Rooney off. No, I want him to play the full night. This is the one night I want Rooney to play 90 minutes, because then it's highly unlikely he's going to play on Saturday. If he takes him off after 60 minutes, it's like he's going to be keeping him fresh. Daley Blind coming out the back like Daley Blind. Be interesting to see if he plays Blind on Saturday, because obviously Vardy and is it Soleimani at Leicester, fast players, like the ball over the top. Does that suit Blind? Oh. Great cross by Rooney. Liverpool are better than United, says Dylan. Come back in May. Rooney is so crap, says Han Solo shot first. Haven't seen you for ages, mate. I don't know whether it's because so many people comment and I don't see it, but Timbo wants Rooney banned for good. Carrick should start with Pogba, says Hafi74R. Yeah, I agree with that. Rooney, we need him injured. We really do, says Dance Fever. What a difference Carrick makes. I know, he does make a huge difference. It's a very good point. What a difference a game makes. "24 simple hours." I'm enjoying it. I know it's only Northampton, but I'm enjoying it. I've always enjoyed watching Michael Carrick. It's like, you know, people say he's like Marmite. He's not like Marmite. He's caviar. He's never going to run past 6 players and put it in the top corner, although tonight he might. But it's his positional sense. It's the way he gets hold of the ball and just runs the team. You know, the press again. Let's pick on the press. You know, with their loving with Lampard and Gerrard. They never ever, they don't understand. People that, you know, there's even United fans who just don't understand Carrick, and it's all about what he brings to the team, how he leads the team, how he takes the ball off the back four, his positional sense, and what that positional sense allows other players to do. It gives them the confidence and ability to not have to be looking behind them all the time. And he just broke up a cross there because of the positional sense he's got in the box to anticipate the cross. He's an absolute superstar and makes a massive difference to our team. Hi Mark, says Cam Neville. Hi Cam, haven't seen you for a while either. Get a better mic please, that tabs is annoying, says Tadji. Oh, we might get in a bit here. There's no way offside, Fozu. You don't be putting your hand up there. He's got, oh God. Oh, I tell you what, that's the bad size of Fozu Mensa, to be honest. You've always got to give it. And he left his man. He leaves his man. He then tries to play an offside that's not there, and then he just gets totally mugged off. It's not good. It's not good. How is Memphis doing? Says Pav Bayer. He's doing all right. He's doing all right. I think it's fair to say probably about a 6 out of 10, isn't he? 6 or 7 out of 10? No, give him a 7 out of 10. Yeah. Outrun by a centre-back, pathetic, says Meldor1. I don't know, was that Fosu Mensa? I don't think it was a centre-back, was it? Jose must drop Rooney, if not he must go. Hi Mark, how are you? Says Robbie Pangala. I'm good, thanks mate, how are you? Carrick and Pogba will end Man United crisis. Yes. The midfield's where it's going wrong. I said this before the game, that the midfield we've got today, Carrick, Schneiderlin and Herrera, is a better midfield than what we've been playing this season, Fellaini, Pogba and Rooney. Obviously, Pogba's a far better player than any of them. But a midfield's not just about individuals, it's about a collective. And Carrick just gives a basis for any midfield anyway, because he can take the ball off the back four better than anybody, and he can play the ball forward better than anybody. And that's basically what you need. And Herrera and Schneiderlin, they're just going to be dynamic. You chuck Pogba into that midfield as well, and maybe Mata or Schneiderlin, Mata or Mkhitaryan as the number 10, you're laughing. So the midfield's where it went wrong against Watford, and the midfield can be very, very easily fixed. You know, imagine if we were in a situation where we were having to play Fellaini and Rooney because we didn't have anybody else. The issue is we do have other people. So yeah, I just there we go. Decent cross in there. Rooney, I don't know whether he put the cross in because he wasn't there. Probably in the wrong position again. We're fast approaching half time, folks. You know what? I've quite enjoyed that half, and you know sometimes it goes quick because you're losing and you want goals and that. And sometimes it goes quick because you're quite enjoying it. But Fosu Mensah should be in the midfield, says Brazamiak. I don't think he should. I think Fosu Mensah's probably not ready yet. That's the issue. Northampton nearly got a penalty there. Oh, they've got a penalty. Northampton penalty. Oh, when it rains, it pours. Oh, we don't really deserve that. I think it probably was a penalty. I don't know what your thoughts are. All because Rojo can't clear the header. That's what that's all about, lads. (1-1). Not deserved, but you know, nearly crying because he scored a penalty against Manchester United. That's what it means. You know what? Flip it the other way. What I want to see is what it means to play for Manchester United. If a bloke's nearly crying because he scored a penalty against us, it shows us the enormity of what this club is. What I want to see is some of that enormity in a United shirt. Makes me sick. Yeah, it matters to beat us. So why doesn't it matter to the players? Was it a penalty? There goes hopes. Blin's hopes of starting against Leicester, says Maldor 1. Yeah, you could be harsh on Blin, couldn't you? You could be harsh, but I just think Rojo's at fault for that. I'd argue that with anybody. And I've never been Blin's biggest fan as a centre-back. I think his best position's left-back, funnily enough. But it's... You see, the trouble is now, I'm not saying we should be 2-0 up because we've had chances. We probably haven't created as many chances as I would like us to make. But the pressure sort of falls onto Rooney again, I think, to be honest. Rightly or wrongly, I think it does. It was a penalty, says Rick Gabriel. Yeah, it probably was. But what I'm saying is, Rojo has a free header and heads it back into a dangerous area. And they can show the penalty as many times as they want. And it was a penalty. I've just seen it clearly there. It was a penalty. I'm not going to, for 1 minute, try and say anything else. But it comes from awful defending. And again, you could argue, why is Rojo part of our squad? I think I've sort of been talking about a couple of things, haven't I? About, yeah, 100% I'm behind the manager. That's not in question. But I think we have made 1 or 2 mistakes. That's not a penalty. They're trying to get another penalty out of us now. Shaky bastards. So it looks like it's going to be 1-1 at half time. I don't know what this ref is poor, really poor. This is not a penalty. It's a long ball lofted up, and Romero just takes the ball with his hand. It's not a penalty. Ref's looking right at it anyway. Takes the ball, then the player. Not a penalty. We move on. We move on. I'm gutted that we're going to be going in at half time 1-1. I don't think that's deserved. In fact, we might not be. No, Rooney's not quick enough. I'll tell you what, I was saying even at 1-0 I feel sorry for Jose, and I really do feel sorry for Jose, because I just don't think, I think everything is sort of going. Jose Menza right on half time. Cross comes in, not quite hit. Rojo, what does he do? Gives it to Rooney. Rooney back to Carrick. Can he work some magic? He nearly finds Jose Menza, and it's half time. It's 1-1 at half time. 1-1 at half time. Get your comments flying in. Let's see what everyone's gonna say. God, let me just put a tweet out as well, because I need to get that out. Think of an angle, really. Happy with that half? I suppose that is probably the question, isn't it? And I'll throw it to you lot before I say what I think, and let's see what you've got. See what you got. Give me what you got. It just sort of sums up my mood at the moment, really, if I'm honest. That's just not, just generally not happy, but sympathetic to the manager for sure. I think the most telling thing, again, for me, and little things in life make a big difference, don't they? Northampton get a penalty. It was a penalty. They score it, and their players running to the side, obviously looking up at family or friends, and he's nearly crying because he scored a goal against Manchester United, even if it's a penalty. Where's that gone from Manchester United? A little club like Northampton, it means so much. Won't be on anywhere near the money that our players are on, and they just seem to have lost it's the wrong badge, isn't it? This is the United stand, but you know what I mean. The Manchester United badge. They've lost that love for the badge. They've lost that determination. It's all very insular. It's all looking in, or it's all about my form, this form. There's no aggression to get out of form, and you know who I'm talking about. But I don't really want to go down that route. So I thought Michael Carrick was superb in the half. Mr. Neon says Rooney's still dropping to the centre midfield. He just can't help himself. Great job, love United Stand Star Blogger, thank you. Why do you like the boy out of We Are the Mirrors? Oh god, okay. They have passion and our players don't, Cam Neville. Very good, that's what I was sort of alluding to. How was Schneidlin's performance, Mark Ash Rocks? Probably not fantastic. I'd probably say 6 out of 10. Probably the same for Herrera, maybe bordering on 7s. I'd say the problem is Michael Carrick stands out as a star player in the team, but from an attacking point of view, it's just not happening. Is that just because of Rooney? Is it because of Ashley Young, who I don't rate either? Is it Memphis? Is it Schneidlin and Herrera? I think defensively we look okay, apart from Rojo, who I blame for the goal. And Carrick is superb, but ahead of him, where's the creativity? Where's the spark? I think we're missing that a little bit. No passion whatsoever, says Sohail. We'll still win this, in my opinion, says Simon Doyle. I would hope so. I think anything other than a win tonight, even if it's a scrappy win, we're in trouble. No passion whatsoever, says KJ Godham. Rooney cannot pass forward. City have smashed Swansea, says Nikhil. I don't know any of the other scores. What is your opinion of Rooney as a striker? It's better than a midfielder. Doesn't mean he's a good striker. Blind made a mistake, says Felipe. No. It was a penalty. It was rash by Blind. But if you take it back 3 or 4 seconds before, a cross comes in, Rojo is completely unchallenged, and he's around the 6-yard box to the left side, and he heads it back into danger. All he's got to do is head it the other way, and it's out of danger. He heads it back into the penalty box. Well, it's in the penalty box anyway, and he keeps it in the penalty box. It's shocking defending. It puts us under pressure. I blame Rojo. Mata and Rashford on Trini Red Devil. I think that's a good call. I think we're missing something creatively, and I think in this sort of game, Mata would eat it up. So I would get Mata on, I'll probably get him on for Schneiderlin, to be honest. Get some pace on, and our attacking will soon pick up. Rooney out of the club, says Move Correct. Rooney terrible, says Sam H. Rashford on, says Louise O'Donoghue. What was Fosu Mensah like, Matthew Dean? I thought he started off well. If he scores that one that hits the bar, it's a different story. He had that phase of play where he tried to play offside and it wasn't, and then he got skinned. That's happened a couple of times, but he's a young lad. He needs to play these sort of games. I'm not going to lie and say he's been amazing, because he has made a couple of mistakes, but we want him playing these sort of games. He needs to get the experience. Siax, or I can't say it. How was Memphis? I'll give him a 7 at best. Yossi's asking as well. He's done okay. He needs to do a lot better, but I think he's got such a big journey back, confidence-wise. He's not playing, so there you go. Lee Hurst saying we're always going to give the opposition chance when you play crap like Rojo. It's a very good point. You pick Rojo, he's going to give people opportunities. Doesn't matter how good the rest of the team was. I thought Michael Carrick was head and shoulders above anybody, and Lee PXDAJ says Carrick must start at the weekend mark. I think he should and must. However, he's not going to start unless he gets subbed off after 70 minutes. And if we're 1-1 in a game, and when he's dictating the game, are you going to take him off? He can't play 90 minutes tonight and 90 minutes on Saturday, but he needs to get off. He needs to. I think he'll pick Fellaini, though. Get Fellaini on now. If you like Fellaini on so much, get him on now and rest Carrick. Bring on Ronaldo. We'd love to, Darth Watson. Can we watch the game, Akib? No, it's a watch-along. Break Looney's legs, says Dav OK. Rojo is so bad. Yashari, he is. Mark, you look wrecked, says Mad Marcus. I am. I'm absolutely exhausted. I don't want to talk about me much. I am absolutely exhausted. As you know, United stand's gone through a lot of change at the moment. We'll come out the other end. Most of the team should be sacked, says, well, yeah, I don't think we should say that. Schweinsteiger, says Salim Hussein. Well, Schweinsteiger would be nice. I like Schweinsteiger, but in all fairness, he'd be playing where Carrick is, and Carrick's doing a fantastic job. Zlatan on. I don't know whether we should be wasting things like that. Greasy Grease, I like that name, says, Mark, if you was the manager, who would you buy and what would your tactics be? Good question. Let me have a think. Rooney at 9, he's still dropping deep instead of doing his job, says Lynn Hall. Rashford on for Young, says Mojo Hammer. Mojo's been with us for a long time. It's a good point. At least you get some direct pace. I mean, I said before the game, didn't I? I've got no time for Ashley Young. And again, it's nothing personal. I just got no time for him. He's like into his 30s. He's not. I don't think he's even a bench player. He's on the decline. He earns a lot of money. What does he offer to the club in a game like this? Nothing. You know, even if he scores a hat-trick, which he won't, nothing. And then he has a half like that as well. He's somebody who shouldn't be at the club anymore. Tactics, what I would do, Lynn Hall's made a good point. I think we made it in the first half. We don't want Rooney off too soon because it means he's being kept fresh for the weekend. Play him 90 minutes, that's what I want. It's difficult to talk about tactics and who you'd play in a League Cup game because I totally agree with a lot of the people playing tonight who wouldn't be in my first team. What I would be doing for Saturday is I would be putting Carrick in the midfield with Pogba, and I would want Mkhitaryan or Mata to play as number 10. I'd have Zlatan up front, Rashford on the right, Martial on the left. That team should be good enough to beat Leicester. They're showing the penalty back. It was a penalty, no doubt about that. But it's Rojo defensively. I can't hear what they're saying, but it's Rojo defensively who causes the problems. Young, is Rooney tactically inept, indisciplined, Niraj? Well, he must be because he keeps dropping all the time, doesn't he? Okay. Let's have a look. Just that. Replying to me on Twitter. Multitasking, men can do it. Still funny if Man United win because of how poor they have played. Memphis was so good in PSV. What happened? He's injured. Patrick Anderson. Be honest, I know it's early, but where do you see us finishing? Says Dylan Hogan. Darmian better than Rojo, says John Arty. It is early days, but I said in the first half there that I would actually take, I'd take third or fourth at the moment, because I just think people are getting lost behind the fact that we spent a lot of money, which we have spent a lot of money. I totally agree with that, but it's the enormity of the job. So there we go. I just think there's a massive job to do. There's a lot of people there who've been there a long time, experienced players, and it's a massive job. I mean, what do you lot think? What do you think is going to happen? I mean, I think second half in this game is the main thing. Would you make changes? I don't want Rooney to come off because I want him to, play the 90 minutes. What I would say is that whatever happens, and there's a good comment there from United Justin, whatever happens, stick with the manager, stick with the club, back the club, because if things go wrong in the second half here, it's only going to be more knives sharpened against the manager. And you know what their whole rhetoric and their whole angle is he's lost the dressing room, the players aren't happy with him, this, that and the other, which actually when you analyse it is total and utter crap. That is not relevant. And it won't wash with me. It won't wash with most of you, and it shouldn't wash with any Manchester United fan. Is that sensational? Oh, he's lost the dressing room. The players don't like what he said to them. I don't give a shit what the players like. It's not like they've had 3 years of being champions, winning trebles. We've had 3 years of massive underachievement and failure. So I don't give a shit what the players think. I don't care if the players have had their face, their nose put out of joint because they're being told off and they're being told they're not good enough. I applaud that. Because they've not been good enough. We love the players. We love people who play for Manchester United. But let's be absolutely honest here. They've not been good enough. So why would I have any sympathy with you being told off by a new manager who has got an amazing track record of instant, quick success? Why would I have a problem with that manager coming in and telling players who have been poor for 3 years, you're poor? I've got none. So the press trying to turn us against our new manager using sympathetic ways of, the players, those players at Manchester United that you like, they're not happy with the new manager because he's telling them off. It's basic trying to turn us against our manager, and that's what frustrates me. Don't let it happen. The players deserve every bit of criticism they get because they haven't been good enough, and you've got to back him to do it, and he needs at least a year to do it. So I'd love us to win the league, I really would, but I think, if we finish third or fourth and we get Champions League football, that might be an achievement. Because I think there are there are United fans out there who like Jurgen Klopp. I mean, it's ridiculous to me. He might have been good a couple of years ago. As soon as you go to Liverpool, you don't exist in my mind. But even Liverpool last year was sporadic. They didn't finish in the top 4. He was there for a good 6-7 months, wasn't he? Didn't he come in just before Christmas, maybe even before? And they blew the final. They got beaten in numerous games. This season, after a bit of time and a full summer, they look a lot better. I think they'll be up there. Obviously, City are going to be up there. And Arsenal are never out the top 4. And then that leaves, us, Chelsea, Spurs. Spurs have got continuity in a team that works well together. Chelsea, obviously, in a similar position to us. So it's difficult. It's really difficult. And I think, people get expecting too much because it's Jose and he's got a great record, which he has. and we spent money, but the money thing is irrelevant. It's just another silly argument the press will throw at us to have a pop at us. We could have spent £500 million on one player. It doesn't mean we're going to win the league, because unfortunately football isn't about 4 new signings. It's about 20 other players who will form the rest of your team and the rest of your squad, and we know there are huge problems with those players. Take tonight, Schneiderlin's not setting the world on fire, neither is Memphis. I'm not saying that they won't come good under Jose, because he's only just come here and maybe will turn them round. But the previous year at Manchester United, they weren't good enough either. We've seen what's happened with Rooney. We know people like Ashley Young are on the decline. There's a lot of problems at Manchester United, and it's going to take time to sort it out. But I think the press are against him. I think certain ex-professional footballers are against him. I think it's totally wrong, because obviously it is going to take time to work it out, isn't it? That is inevitable. Absolutely inevitable. I thought somebody was going to... Somebody was going to message me to come on there. That's obviously not. If Rooney gets man of the match this season, I'll ask my crush. The bad part is Rooney won't get man of the match. Chocolate Thunder, I think you're halfway through that. Jay Cohen wants us to read comments. Got a little message, hopefully. Yeah, let's have a look. Okay, hopefully might be able to get him on. Second half just about to kick off.
Jay Cohen wants us to read comments.
Hi Chris, you alright? I can't hear you. Yeah.
It's volume sorted out. Hang on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, good stuff.
I can hear myself a bit as well though, that's the problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully we'll get Chris up with you in a moment. That will work perfect when it does. You might need to put some headphones in or something.
Yeah, give me 2 seconds, I'll grab that.
Second half hasn't kicked off quite yet, but it won't be that long, and we'll be interested to see if we've made any changes to it. Looking at the team as it comes out there. Rooney still on the pitch, which is good. Memphis, Young, yeah, everyone's still on the pitch at the moment, which is good. And as I said, hopefully we'll see Carrick going off in the second half. Not because he's not been bad, not
play on Saturday,
but hopefully because we want to see him play on Saturday, as Chris just said there.
There we go. How's that?
Hopefully that's all right. Yeah, I can. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
good.
can't hear my bit now. You been watching the first half then, Chris?
Trying to stream it.
We don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's been entertaining. I mean, literally, to be fair, it looked like our performances last season, stagnant, slow and boring. But yeah, I've seen, I mean, we have got, well, I say a reserve squad out. It's our team B from his point of view, but yeah, I mean, the performance itself, we needed this game, if any game, to sort of like kick our season off, and by the looks of it, it just looks like we're just still going backwards. We're not making any steps forward.
No, I mean, Michael Carrick for me was superb in that half, definitely. But looks like we're gonna have a yellow card here or something. I don't know what's going on at all. The referee's like having his few minutes in the sun, that's for sure. But I don't know. I think Carrick's done well defensively. I think we've been okay. I just think the big issue has been creatively up front, which brings things back to maybe Rooney. But I don't know. It's a yellow card. Well, that could be a red card on Memphis. I don't know whether you've seen that. That's a red card. That's a red card on Memphis. That's horrific. I'm amazed I missed that. really bad scissor tackle in from behind. Ref's not been that good.
It's hardly even against too much at the moment.
Sorry, Chris, you're breaking up a bit there. I didn't catch much of that.
You just try and at the moment. He's given a lane. He has not much time. He's basically into it, and then leaves it.
I think it's your internet connection, mate. It's just breaking up a little bit. Decent cross coming in from Ashley Young there, but it was just blocked by Northampton. I'm really disappointed. I mean, I don't know what anyone's got to say in the comments. He wasn't sent off, Chad. No, it was a horrific tackle. Come in behind him like that, scissored him, and I think that's why people like Ashley Young were all over him, because it was a bad challenge, Callum. It was a very bad challenge. It was a red card, and not that I'm wishing that people like Northampton players get sent off, because we should be winning this game against 11 Northampton players, but it was a bad tackle. He's lucky he didn't get injured. Straight red in FIFA, says Hayden Burgess. I totally believe that. The score's 1-1. It's all over the screen. No name Bankson. Still there, Chris?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, sorry, no, I'm just looking at the TV at the moment, trying to get some sort of feed from it. But yeah, I mean, at the moment, what would we accept? I mean, you got to look from our point of view as fans. What would we really accept as a decent scoreline for the sort of team that we're putting out? 2-1, 3-1. I mean, are we expecting too much of United at the moment? Too soon?
I think ultimately we just need to win the game. I think it'd be nice to be winning this 3-4-1, but I mean, looking at from a tactical point of view, as I said, I think up to Carrick it's fine. He can play the ball into Rooney or he can and whatever, but it's what they do. I mean, as I said, Ashley Young just doesn't do it for me. I think Memphis is just so far off being and may never be the player we want him to be. Herrera and Schneiderlin have been busy, but without really, I just think the problem is we haven't really got anything ahead of us. Somebody said it before the game. Rooney hasn't got the legs anymore to play as a number 9, which sounds stupid because obviously Zlatan's not the quickest, but Zlatan's got other things to his game that Rooney hasn't.
I mean, with Rooney, I mean, I think everyone sort of knows my sort of feelings towards Rooney, and I think I was sort of picking up on what Alex was saying on Sunday's live debate. We've changed the managers, we've brought in great players. I mean, what else can we really do to get this team playing to any sort of standard? I mean, he has changed things around, but then again he is playing people like Valencia at right back again, and I mean he's still using certain players, playing Fellaini in a position he plays in, or even on the pitch. So I mean he hasn't really shaped too much up in terms of the team on the pitch. So I don't know what he's trying to do at the moment with Jose, but obviously I trust Jose 100%. But I mean, at the moment it's worrying, because even though we do have a new manager and we have brought new players, it seems like we're still playing LVG tactics.
Yeah, I mean, I know you've only just come on for the second half. What's your thoughts on Rooney? Do you think he'll play on Saturday? Would you want him to play on Saturday?
I mean, personally, I don't. I admire Rooney. I like Rooney. I think he's been a great servant to the club. Personally, I think he's had his day now. I mean, I think there's about 3 or 4 players that can play in his position that are better than him. I don't see why he should play him off last week's performance. I was at Watford watching it, and I mean, you couldn't take his eyes off him. He was so poor. I mean, to see it on TV is bad enough, but to see it live, I mean, he was utterly, shockingly poor. So if he gets into Saturday's squad, then I think there's got to be some sort of question of this clause in his contract, because it's going to have to add up. I mean, he hasn't been playing great today, so you know, who knows? But yeah, with Rooney personally, I don't think he should play. I think what Jose's doing at the moment is he's playing him today, so he's going to rest him on Saturday, use him in an easy game like this. And I can see Jose sort of thinking. He thinks, play him against Northampton, we'll come on, bounce back from the media backlash and get back 3 or 4 goals. It hasn't happened. It might do. You never know. But it hasn't at the moment, and I think that's what's happened. He's just trying to boost Rooney's confidence after getting slated in the media.
Yeah, I think he probably thought. Well, he said it before. I don't know whether he saw his interview before the game, Jose. He did say about Rooney. He was asked what he wanted from him, and he said goals. So I suppose if Rooney doesn't score a goal, he doesn't do what Jose wanted, and he missed a very good chance. I mean, he may. I think he will score tonight at least one. Maybe he'll get a couple. I mean, we need someone to score. In the first half, probably in the first 5 minutes, he missed an absolute sitter. But when things aren't going for you, things aren't going for you, are they?
I think they haven't been going for Rooney for about 2-3 years, if I'm being honest. I mean, you only with United, you get maybe 2-3 chances max. I mean, he's had more lives than a cat at the moment. He's just getting away with murder, and I think he's now sort of taking not only the fans but the club for absolute mugs. I mean, he's earning stupid money. He should be leading by example, and it just doesn't seem like he's doing either.
Double substitution coming up. Let's see who it's going to be. It's Zlatan and it's Rashford coming on. If it's Rooney off, then that for me that's bad news. That means Rooney will play on Saturday against Leicester. So I didn't want these substitutions to happen, but we're going to see very quickly. Maybe, I don't know, Rashford for Ashley Young maybe. Schneidlin, drop Rooney into the midfield again. I don't know. We're all sort of waiting with bated breath here. Never sub-defending a corner. We're not defending. It's Memphis.
I can see that with that tackle. He wants to get him off. He looks like he's probably, he might be saving Memphis maybe for Saturday. You never know, but it might just be because
I don't know whether Memphis looks happy about that. I don't know. Rashford, I don't know who's Rashford's come on for. It must be Ashley Young, I think. It's certainly not Rooney again. Must be Ashley Young, yeah. I don't know about the Memphis one. I don't know. Was Memphis injured? I don't know. Because if he's not injured, no, Fosu Mensah. Fuck, that's shocking. I mean, that's not going to help.
So he's playing Ashley Young back in right back again.
Dear me, I don't know. Jose, you're pushing it. I mean, I'm back into the hilt, but he is.
Do you think maybe he might be getting older to do these stupid these tactics? Because you've got to think about it. I mean, one manager playing absolute crap tactics, 2 managers maybe, but 3. I mean, there's got to be something in it somewhere.
I don't know. I mean, looking at the comments there's people just, shocking. Why? Rooney should have been subbed. I don't. This is one game I do not want Wayne Rooney to be subbed because I think it would just mean that he is going to be kept back fit for the Leicester game. What I do want to see is Carrick coming off around in the next 15 minutes so that he's got some fitness for Saturday. But I'll put my hand on my heart now and I'll say. I don't think Carrick will play on Saturday. I think he'll play Fellaini, which is ridiculous. But, I mean, in fairness, I do back the manager. So, Fosu Mensah was causing issues at right back. Go on.
I was going to say, I mean, after the last 2 years, I think we do owe it to the manager to give him at least a year, to back him for a year, because if it all falls through after that, you can't say that we haven't backed him all the way.
Yeah.
But I mean, he is playing some funny tactics. He doesn't look like he's playing. I mean, when you saw him at Chelsea, etc., he looked like he was the substitutions he was putting on looked right. He looked like he was really nailing every single substitution, and the players were playing in sort of the right position. But when he obviously now at United, I don't know why, but He's doing the sort of LVG substitutions. He's playing the players in the same place. It doesn't add up at the moment for me. I don't know what he's trying to do, but whatever it is. The last few games it hasn't worked, but I'm not worried. I mean, we're what 5, 6 games into the season. I mean, to worry about something like this now. I mean, I think we're a bit overreacting, but it's whether or not it changes fast and we start to build some more momentum. Into the Christmas period, and hopefully get some points from that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a comment here from Romeo KGT says, if United finished outside the top 4, should Mourinho be sacked? Way too early to even be answering that question, because you just don't know what the sort of ramifications of finishing out the top 4 are. Is it like, everybody plays brilliant, there's some nasty tackles going in, and that is a nasty tackle on Schneiderlin. And why he's playing play on when Schneiderlin's down injured, it's a bad tackle, end the play and send the fucker off. I'm just thinking, again, there's just been some nasty tackle. I mean, somebody was saying there, maybe Memphis has been taken off because he's had a knock, and also Martial won't be fit on Saturday. So maybe that's what that's to do with. I hope so, because I don't think Memphis was shocking to be subbed. Ooh!
No.
Herrera just, I think it hit the side of the post, or maybe the stanchion at the back. He caught hold of it from about 30 yards out. No, it's not 30 yards, 25 yards. It's the foot of the post. Ugh.
I would like to see Memphis given a chance, or at least given a run in the team, 3 or 4 games. I mean, I can't judge him on 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, every other game. I mean, to judge any player on that's ridiculous. I mean, given Rashford, he came on, he scores the goals here and there. But I mean, for someone like Memphis, I don't know. I can't judge him yet. I think he should be given a good run in the team. With Martial currently being out, I don't think there's a better period for him to start trying that personally. But with taking Fellaini out of the team, I think is a must. Also with Rooney, I think he has to come out. I mean, I think every single fan in the stadium saw that as soon as Rooney got the ball, especially last week, that play slowed down dramatically. I mean, Ibrahimovic is not the fastest of people in the first place. So when you got Rooney slowing that play down, the whole attacking sense just completely crumbles, and then you have everyone behind the ball. So I'm hoping he'll replace Rooney with maybe either Herrera, Mata. You never know, but
60-minute mark.
Seems like Carrick has done enough to justify his place in the team within about 45 minutes of the game. Then Rooney's done the whole season.
Yeah, definitely. He's been really fantastic. But the pressure's on, isn't it? Half an hour now. As I've been saying all through this watch along, the knives are sharpened for Jose. The press will be absolutely loving it. He's got players on the pitch now who you would expect will play for him. The likes of Rashford, Zlatan. I just wonder whether go on.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, do you think something like the weight of the club, something like Manchester United, for some players is just too much to handle, too much to bear, and they can't perform? Like, it's just they're playing for, no disrespect, like a mid-table club. They can obviously have a little bit more freedom. The pressure's off them, but when they play for a big team such as United, it seems as if they're worried to really do anything, express anything. It's like, the weight of the badge for them, I think some players especially, is just too much for them to bear.
Ashley Young's down injured now. I think it was probably another horrific tackle. I mean, they are just... I suppose that's what you get at this level, isn't it? People just flying in recklessly. I mean, it wasn't the worst tackle in the world, to be honest, but...
I mean, the only benefit that we've got from all of this is Jose Mourinho. He's a winner. He won't stop. He will keep going. He will fight every game like it's his last, like it's a cup final. And with that, he won't give up. He will do that. Whereas previous managers we've had, obviously LVG, would give up after, if the end of the title, he will completely give up when he's feet, when he's sword. Jose Mourinho, I think he won't stop. He will keep trying it, and he will take the pressure, he'll take the flak, and then just wait until the job's done.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying before, there's obviously a leak from the dressing room. I think Gary Neville was sort of insinuating that last night on his Twitter, and obviously it's been in the papers a lot today. There's 3 years of experienced players who are still at the club, who've underachieved. If Jose came out and said, I'm getting rid of 4 or 5 of them, and even if it was the likes of Rooney, Smalling, whatever, I'd back him, because it's not like they've been brilliant for 3 years. I mean, I like them, but he's got to be given that opportunity to do what he wants to do. I mean, what Northampton are doing at the moment is it's not a 90-minute game for them anymore, is it? It's a half an hour game, and they can raise themselves for half an hour. They can chuck silly tackles in and just try and win this with bully boy tactics, which, as we saw, unfortunately, we do lack a leader on the pitch. We know that, and we do lack a bit of fight, which we've seen in our last 2 games against Feyenoord and Watford. That's a good ball by Carrick again. Rashford with the cross.
And have.
I think he's going to have to make another substitution at some point. It's just difficult to know what.
I mean, yeah, as I was going to say before, sorry, who would you have as the Man United captain? And obviously we need someone that's going to play week in, week out, maybe put his captaincy at the test for the next 2 to 3 years. I mean, who have we really got in the squad that we can see as a real leader? I mean, we're talking like Roy Keane material. I mean, at the moment, looking at it, my only first bet will probably be, Smalling, but then you look at compare him to someone like Roy Keane, there's no comparison. But I can't see any leaders other than Zlatan, but he's not going to be with us long enough to really, spend 3 or 4 years being our captain, taking us forward.
No, we've got a very, very good leader who would be a superb leader, and his name's Bastian Schweinsteiger, but he's not even in the squad, and again, he's coming towards the end of his career. He'd be absolutely perfect. He's exactly what we need at the moment. But, again, whilst backing the manager, which I do, it doesn't mean I don't disagree with some of the things he does. I'm sure Schweinsteiger could offer more to this team than Rooney could, especially as a captain. We haven't. You're right. There is no leader in this team, which is a massive problem because it's very rare to go and buy a leader. You don't normally go and buy a captain. So there's a chance. Put the cross in. Rooney, loads of time to put it in. Keeper punches it away. So you look at who's coming through. I mean, you could do a cop-out keeper and use De Gea as a captain, but you may as well not have a captain if your goal is your captain. Ideally, you want it to be a centre-back. Maybe someone like Daley Blind has it in him, but is Daley Blind going to be first team anyway? Luke Shaw's too young. We haven't actually got a right back. I don't think Chris Smalling's a leader. There's nobody in the midfield who's a leader because we've got a lot of foreign players. Not that they can't be captains, but they don't play enough, like Herrera, Mata, Schneiderlin. Martial, not going to be the captain. Mkhitaryan's not going to be the... So, I agree that we lack a captain. That's probably why Rooney plays, but Rooney's not a captain, is he?
Yeah. And I think that's the whole reason why when we ever go a goal down or we're not performing as we should be, there's usually that captain has an extra edge where he turns around to the players, gets them by the scruff of the neck and like, what are you guys doing? Raise your game, concentrate, get back into it. We don't have that. It just seems as soon as we go a goal down and we're not performing, our heads drop. And yes, the manager can do everything he can do from the touchline, but we need that on the pitch. And we need to obviously, like you said, Schweinsteiger, he would be a great, you could even see him off the pitch. He's got so much class. Even with playing in the reserves, he's just a class individual altogether. And he'd be perfect. But obviously Mourinho doesn't like him in terms of fitting into his system. Like you said, you look at every team in the Premier League, and at least one player in that team is a genuine captain. Every team has one, but you look at us and you think, well, we haven't got one. Well, we do, but he plays every week, but he's terrible.
Just bringing somebody else on. I've just seen him doing the old call. Be interesting to see who it is.
I just saw one. Did I want?
Fellaini's coming on! Hooray!
Oh dear, that's just made my night. No, did I want Pep going to United? No. Do you know what? Out of Jose or Pep, I would have taken Jose Mourinho still. I mean, I know we'll never know, but personally, I think that Pep doesn't like a challenge, and I think he would. I think he'd probably do a worse job than LPG, to be honest. He hasn't proven himself with any other team that hasn't already.
Yes! Have it! Herrera laid in by Rashford, 2-1. Boom! That will do it. That will do it, and it's the right sort of connection. It's the right sort of players that we want to see. We sort of hit him on the break. Rashford picks it up and he laid it off, and then Herrera's not even in the screen. Boom! Smacks it in. That's the player. That's the sort of players. Rashford and Herrera sorting it out, taking responsibility. That's what I liked about that goal.
My stream will catch up. I'll see it in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Well, I'm just watching it back now. Perfect layoff and bang, have it. We breathe again.
I tell you what, it's a godsend that we've got Rashford. I mean, he came out of nowhere. I mean, I personally didn't watch him in the academy, but he came out of nowhere, this guy. And I mean, I think, you think yourself, if he wasn't in the team and he weren't in a few of these games that we've had, where we'd be without Martial last season and Rashford. I
don't think he's bringing Fellaini on anymore anyway, which is interesting because the way things have gone with substitutions and everything over the last 3 years, it was probably going to take Herrera off, as mad as it sounds. I'd still take Carrick off and bring Fellaini on, because I think that would give Carrick another 20 minutes in his legs, which would be useful. But I'm happy with that, very happy with that. And the scorers, both players that we want to see part of the setup. So yeah, really, really pleased.
It's with Herrera, when he starts to get like a run of games together, he does produce these diamond, bits of amazing where he comes on and he just performs great. He's that sort of player that needs a run of games. And under LVG, he just never got that.
No, he's really been unfortunate, Herrera. I remember last season he played really well against Everton when we beat them 3-0. And then I think we went away to Watford. I think we went 1-0 up or something. And then he injured himself and he was out. And it's either injury or just being the fall guy. He never gets I think if you give him 5, like you say, a run of games, 5-10 games in a row, I think he'd just get better and better and better, but he's always stop-start, coming in and out of the team, even when he plays well. Like last week in the Manchester derby, he changed the game in the second half. He should have started against Watford. He doesn't start. And I know he didn't play particularly well against Feyenoord, but that was a reserves team again. He deserved to start based on what he did in the first team against that second half against City, and he doesn't even get a minute on the pitch. So, really... Really pleased with that. I mean, Zlatan's playing as a number 10 tonight.
Probably doing a better job than Rooney. I really don't like Rooney. I'm sounding like I'm really hating Rooney at the moment. I'm not that. I don't hate Rooney. I like Rooney. He's been a great servant to United. It's just for me, I don't like the fact that a player's playing every week in and week out, and he's performing so badly. For me, it's not making me so much hate the manager, it's making me hate the player, and I shouldn't.
Yeah, Andrew Thompson's just said there, where would Herrera play there? I think that's a very good point now. I think in the last couple of seasons he should have been playing more than he did. But I think against Zlatan's put Rooney in. And Rooney loses it. And I think in this team, Rojo's probably going to get a yellow card for that because it was cynical. You're going to have Pogba in the box-to-box midfield position.
Yeah.
I don't think Herrera is a defensive midfielder. So where Herrera would play is quite difficult, unless you're going to play Pogba further forward.
Do you play Herrera in number 10 and just play Pogba just behind? Maybe, I don't know.
You could do, but I do think that in fairness to another player who doesn't really ever get the chance in the position he's best at, Mata is probably a better number 10 than Herrera would be, and Mkhitaryan is undoubtedly. So I mean, Herrera maybe could play out on the right. I don't know. He's got a good cross on him, but naturally you want some pace there. But Pogba's not going to play. The point is, Pogba's not going to play every game. He could get injured, whatever. So, and people, if they're good, if they're in form, they should play. I know Pogba's cost a lot of money, but
that's what Jose Mourinho was always good at. I always respected him that he would only pick players on merit, obviously on performing, on the performance they play. He dropped John Terry for that long period when he weren't performing well, and everyone was like, the papers were giving him a lot of hassle, saying why ain't he playing the captain, etc. And he does make these decisions, and he always has been sort of proud of himself on playing players on their performance. But at the moment, when you see him playing Rooney and Fellaini, and they're not performing that particularly well, you've got to think, well, what's he doing here?
Yeah, there's a bit of bad news coming through there that Fellaini's come on for Schneidlin, which means Carrick will be playing the full 90, and obviously there's no way Michael Carrick can play 2 90-minute games in 3 days, so he's not going to be playing against Leicester, which I think is a massive blow, because I think Carrick's made a massive difference to the team with his ability to play that defensive midfield position, break up the play, shield the back four, take the ball off the back four, play good balls. Daley Blin's just probably not done himself any favours again there. He's given another foul away. I think he'll probably get booked. At the end of the day, there's 15 minutes left on the clock, and we need to show some professionalism and just finish this game off now.
It gets to the point when, like I was saying before, I mean, what do we expect in terms of a respectable goal line against someone like Northampton without being disrespectful to them, but then obviously wanting us to have a performance to say, look, the last few weeks have been bad, given, but we're going to start our season off again. It's a bit worrying because, like I said, the last few weeks it hasn't been as if we've lost.
Oh, it's 3-1. Keeper's made a mistake. It's Rashford. You can enjoy that one back. Cock up by the keeper, and that is a bit of respectability. And it gives. Rashford's banging the goals in. Rooney can break the record, but if we can get Rashford banging these goals in, he'll break it himself in a few years.
I know. I'm going to have to take Martial out of my dream team and put Rashford in it. I think. So I think he's. Oh, there we go. Look, right past him. Boom. Lovely.
They both just kick thin air. It's hilarious, but we'll take it. Lovely stuff. And you know what? It sort of nicely feeds in with what Chris was saying there. Really, what's a respectable scoreline? And I was going to say, ultimately, I think 2-1. The press will be all over us. I think heads against the brick wall. Really, win 4-1. People will say it's only Northampton. Win 2-1. Oh, he didn't do very well, etc. For me personally, winning the game, it was always all that matters, and let the haters hate. But if we can get another couple of goals now, it's all about confidence, and I think we would have took a confidence from a win anyway. But the substitutions have worked. I just couldn't see us creating chances in the first half with Ashley Young and Rooney and Schneidlin. Adding Zlatan just gives a lot more fear into the team, obviously, and Rashford more directness. I mean, he set a goal up and he scored a goal. So I agree with what Chris was saying. Where this lad's come from has been an absolute godsend. We haven't had to sign him, and he's just it makes a world of difference.
I mean, I think we'll find out this season if he was a one-hit wonder, and by the looks of it, he's proven everyone wrong. I mean, the reason I don't know how he's not even in an England squad is beyond me. He's going to be a potential United star of the future. Saying that, if we keep him, because I know what Real Madrid are like.
Yeah, you would hope that he would just he'll stay because he's a United lad. But you know what, United need to start reflecting his ambitions, really, don't they? I mean, Fellaini might get in on the act here. Not quite. They're not that bad. I think I don't really want to dwell on Rooney. I think my next observation about Rooney will be if he's in the team on Saturday, which I can't see how he will be, but I expect him to be in it. But for him to have played 90 minutes in this game and to not really have contributed again, I mean, the key with Rooney is, I said it in the first half, this is Northampton, so a lot of players, just because of the level we play at, should be getting 7s or 8s out of 10 tonight, because you're playing a lower league club, you're a better player than them, so you should shine as a better player. Unfortunately for Rooney again, I'd be being I'd be totally a liar to give him 7 out of 10. I might be slightly generous to give him an average 6. Realistically, it may be another 5, and against the League One side, that's just shocking and not good enough.
This was his moment to shine. I mean, if he had any point then to prove a point to the press, to the United fans, saying, look, I've had a few games bad, here and there. This is what I can do. This was it. And by the looks of it, if anything, he's basically confirmed our doubts, and that he's just not that good anymore. He might have the footballing brain, but his body and legs have just gone.
Yeah, I mean, is it Death from Above 592 says Leicester are going to smash you. I'm not going to come back with anything silly about that. I think, United, it's abundantly clear that we struggle in the battles, and we're not really a team at the moment. That's what Jose's trying to build. On Saturday, we're playing a team that will battle all day, and they are a team. And that always, as we saw against Watford, and they're a better team than Watford, is going to cause us problems. And obviously Watford have got pace up front, they've got skill on the flanks. It's going to be a difficult game. I think we can win it, but I don't think we should expect to be beating Leicester on Saturday. We should be building to a situation where we are expecting to beat Leicester at home, but I think... I don't know. I don't know whether some fans forget what's happened for the last 3 years. We've not convincingly beaten many teams, so we are trying to get to that level. But it's a hell of a job, and it's going to be a hell of a journey to get there. I think Leicester will be a difficult game on Saturday, and I wouldn't say they're favourites, but they're probably not far off being favourites just because of the mess and form we're in.
I mean, Mourinho's not going to come into a squad that is being dictated to for the last 2 to 3 years, wave a magic wand, and then within 2-3 months of him being there, we're all going to be back to the United of old, scoring goals left, right and centre, performing. It's just not going to happen. It's going to take time, and I know we have given other managers time to do it, but they were doing it the wrong way. It was proven. Mourinho has got a track record of doing the right way. He wins things. Within 2-3 years, he'll probably win us the league. Whether or not we are willing to give him that time and patience is another thing. I personally am, because I know he wouldn't want to come to United and not win anything. That's my personal opinion. But it's whether or not the United fans, the board, etc., are willing to basically stick it out for a season, 2 seasons, etc. Whether or not it's debatable. I think if, let's put a proposition to you, if Rooney came on and scored, so broke the United record before the Christmas period, and in January, do you reckon we could sell him? I mean, because he would have broken the record, he would have done what he set out to do. Obviously, we know he's not performing that well. Come January, could we sell him off, get a little bit of money for him? I mean, it's possible.
I think Rooney's contract, somebody was telling me, it runs till 2019. It's another 3 years. That's
David Moyes, wasn't it? Why would you sign someone? I mean, how old was he when he signed that contract? He was what, 28, 29, signing a 5-year contract.
Decent cross and cleared. I mean, just very quickly, Chris. I mean, we've still got 10 minutes left. What team would you be playing against Leicester on Saturday?
I think Shaw's got an injury at the moment, isn't he? So I guess I don't know. I'll probably put Blind on the left. I know he had a few good games of that last season. Bailey, Smalling, Valencia. So we have no one else. Midfield, I would give, obviously, Pogba if he's back. I'd start Herrera. I would like to, if Martial obviously gets over his knock on his head, I would have had him on the right with Rashford on the right with Ibrahimovic up front and Mata as number 10. But it's it's. I mean, having the right back, we've got Darmian as well. I mean, I keep forgetting about Darmian. I mean, I'd never thought he really done anything that wrong in the team under LVG. He had a few bad games here and there, but I actually thought he was a class right back for us, to be honest.
I mean, I'd assume that Pogba's going to come straight back into the team. We're sort of on the edge here a bit against Northampton, but with 2 goals ahead of them with 8 minutes to go, I think we should be all right. In fact, I would like to see us get another one on the break, because Northampton are sort of, I suppose they've got nothing to lose really, have they? It's a cup game, it's not goal difference, but they are pushing forward, try and get a goal and push at us, but let's get a 4th, and then it becomes 4-1's not too bad, is it?
It's not too bad. I mean, but if you look at it in the fact, I know I said we have a B team now, but you look at the players on the pitch, and you think to yourself, we are Man United. We've got the Rooney's apparently that he's a great player to some, but we've got all these great players out on the pitch, and we were struggling up until the 60th, 70th minute. It's bit daunting. I mean, I know the other matches are going on at the moment, but I'm trying to look at the other score lines, but I think a few other teams like the old Spurs, Tottenham, Man City, I think they're all comfortably ahead as well. So yeah, I mean, for us personally, I mean, all I want to do is put a string of results together that is convincing, and just to see just that we're moving forward. I want to see some progress in the team. Progression, and that for me is the main thing. It's not so much winning by 10-0 every game. It's just seeing the progression, and I'm just hoping that will start off before Christmas, because when we get that Christmas period, it's a sink or swim.
Yeah, we've got tough. Without being not being hypocritical, I think Leicester's a difficult game, obviously, but. If we don't win that, we've got Stoke away, who I know are getting beaten a lot at the moment, but it'd be just typical that they start to figure out how to stop conceding goals when we roll into town, and United rolling into town is never an easy game at Stoke anyway. Then we've got Anfield and Liverpool, who, their managers had 8 months and sorted it out, so that's difficult. Then we've got Chelsea. A scenario out of the next 4 games could be that we only come out with about, worst case scenario, 1 point. We could come out of it with like 4 points, which is going to leave us further and further behind, whilst the teams like City and Arsenal keep churning away points, and everybody else. So we need a quick change of form just to keep in that race for top 4 really.
Yeah, I mean, we could do an Arsenal and have a slow start as per this season, and then just pick up the results as we go along, and then obviously have a really strong finish. I mean, that could happen, but we've obviously, I want to see how Jose Mourinho puts his sort of blueprint in terms of how we're going to be performing for the next few weeks going forward, because all I can see at the moment is the same players playing the same position as LVG put intact, and that for me is the worrying part, because I know Jose's better than that.
It's very interesting for everybody watching how you got Carrick and Fellaini very close to each other at the moment. They're both playing quite deep. I'm sure we'll see Fellaini playing the deep position against Leicester at the weekend, but it's just the worlds apart in what they can do with the ball at their feet. Fellaini does come and get it, to be fair, but he's just got there's no composure in his passing, and he just literally cannot pass the ball along the ground further than about 5 yards, whereas Carrick, it's just second nature. And then further up the pitch, it's even funnier. You've got, Zlatan's playing as a number 10, and Rooney is still labouring up front as a number 9. I don't know. There's massive problems, like Chris says. I mean, Ashley Young's no right back as well. He's been an absolute embarrassment. There are massive problems with the team, and I'm sure when it does click into action, then I
mean, for any player, the way when you start playing a certain way, once you get found out, their team finds out the way you play, especially someone like Fellaini. Really, obviously, they know he can't put a pass together longer than 5 yards, and they close him down quickly. Once they find you out, you either adapt your game, or you're going to lose the ball. You're going to end up playing really badly and have a really bad game. Fellaini cannot adapt his game, and that is why I think, I don't know if you personally, but I know that's why I'm on his back, is that he can't adapt to the way most players play. I mean, you play a good game, you find out, okay, obviously they're noticing I'm constantly going down the wing, doing this, doing that, so, sliding the ball in, and you adapt it, you switch it around a bit, confused with other players. But Fellaini just comes out and he's just the same player, playing the same way every single game. And I think every person that plays against him knows exactly where the ball's going to go.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I mean, 3 minutes to go now. Rooney trying to put a cross in there. I mean, I don't want to dwell on Rooney. Well, let's talk on the result. Do you learn a lot from a Northampton Town win at 3-1? No, we'd learn a hell of a lot. But losing the game would have put us in a horrific situation. I think Rooney's got to be spoken about, hasn't he? I'm trying to avoid it because I think he has to be spoken about because he's the big thing at the moment. Yeah. And for me, in that 90-minute performance, has he done himself any favours? Has he changed anything? To be totally honest with you, he'd have probably done his reputation better being rested, sat at home, because there's just nothing there. And I think that's the problem. And in fairness to him, I think that is the problem. This is a decline of a player. This isn't bad form or whatever. This is a sharp decline over 3 years that now, because some of us for so long have been waiting for the real Rooney to come back, and he isn't coming back. That sharp decline over 3 years is a massive decline from the start of that 3 years to where we are now. He's just nowhere near that player anymore. I think the desire's there, but I just don't think the ability is.
I mean, with no disrespect to Northampton, I mean, I think we have learned a bit from this game. And this is the sort of game where the great players, the good players, you will see that. You will see them coming through and just having, playing this game with ease. And the bad players, the ones that are not performing, will struggle. And obviously, if you're watching this game, you see Rooney struggling against the Northampton side. That's when you're going to have to, alarm bells have got to start ringing. I know the press are on him. I've been saying it for over a year now, over a year with Rooney. And it's not that I don't want him to foul. I want him to succeed. He's a great player. He used to be a great player for United. I wish he turns into the Rooney of old, but it's just not going to happen. I've come to terms with that he's in the decline, and I just want people to see it. I would love to, now the press are on the back, it's nice because now it's been highlighted, and he will have to either, come back fighting and perform very, very well, or he'll have no force but to drop him. Double-edged sword, really.
Yeah. We're going to be through in the League Cup, folks. That's the main thing. We're going to be through in the League Cup. Zlatan and Herrera try not to pass to Rooney, says Toruk. We are, man of the match, Michael Carrick. I don't think we could argue with that, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that the players like Zlatan are obviously on the pitch looking at Rooney thinking, what are you doing? What is going on here? I mean, they must be thinking, all this hype about Rooney, because obviously they haven't played with him as a teammate, but obviously, seen him on TV, and obviously now they're playing with him, they're probably thinking to themselves, right, there's something obviously not right here with this guy.
Yeah, well, I was saying that in the first half, it's really weird because if there is an issue with Rooney, Zlatan's 100% in Jose's camp. There's going to be a clash of titans in that dressing room, but it's common knowledge that Carrick and Rooney have ran that dressing room probably quite rightly in some ways over the last 3 years, because I'm not going to start suddenly saying Rooney's a villain for 3 years. No, by no means. Van Gaal was a disgrace, and Moyes wasn't far off that. But the issue now is that we know that the likes of Michael Rashford look up to Rooney, but the blunt thing is Rashford's better than Rooney. So Rashford, looking up to that person as an idol probably isn't the best thing, but you can't help him for that. But this is the problem when people say, we should be challenging for the title. It's bigger than what's happening on the pitch. Man, what's going on behind closed doors and the leaking of stuff from the dressing room, these are massive problems that will undermine our season that he's got to sort out, which will benefit us on the pitch eventually, but are going to not benefit us on the pitch for a while.
I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, it was never. Rome weren't built in a day. Jose's got he has got a big task ahead of him. He's got lots to do. I mean, he's brought in the right players now. I mean, he's brought the right players in. Sometimes it gels together straight away, and they play amazingly. That's fine. It happens to some teams. Some teams it doesn't. You have to sort of blend them in. You've got a mix of all these different players from all these different high-profile teams like PSG, Juventus, etc. They need to come together and they need to start, gelling, playing together, playing well. That never usually happens. If it does, well done. But I think with the run up to Christmas, I think it's going to start to come together. I really do. I really do think it's going to start working out for us. I mean, it's so early. We're 6 games now into it, and 6 games, 7 games, including the cups, isn't it now? And so much time to go. I personally think Rooney should just, even just have a bit of credit. I mean, he would be a good coach for United, an attacking coach, to train maybe even in the academy, the youth players, train them up. He knows what it was like. He came from that sort of background as a young footballer. He'd be a great coach to have. I would snap him up as a coach for United. But on the pitch, he's had his day. I really do think he's had his day. I've got to give credit to Michael Carrick, though. Like I said, man of the match. I mean, he hasn't played hardly at all, if any, games this season. He's come on and he's performed, and that's all you can ask from a Manchester United player.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's game over. It's 3-1. Let's have a quick look at the live comments there. I mean, I don't think there can be any doubt that it's a deserved result. I totally agree with that. What everyone will say is that it is only Northampton. However, you can only beat what's in front of you. It gives us a little bit of confidence. We had to play this game. I think the team selections were pretty much right. I stand by what I said about Rooney, that he may as well have stayed at home, because I think that would have enhanced his reputation more than the performance he's put in tonight. It just wasn't very good. Carrick, brilliant. The only negativity I have about Carrick is that he played 90 minutes, which means he probably won't play on Saturday. I think if we played Carrick on Saturday, we'd have a far better chance of winning.
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, I mean, the home support, the away support from United, obviously cheering and clapping Rooney, which they will. There's, you can't fault the fans for doing that. That's, their own breed, the away supporter, the United Army. So it's a good result. Based on this performance, are we a title winning side to Manchester United forever? Very, very far from it, but you can't judge that anyway. Please do like the video. I'm just going to give Chris a couple of minutes just to give his thoughts, and then I will end this, and I will do a live match reaction in about 10 minutes, which is just going to be a short 5-minute thing. But thanks everybody for watching. From my point, please do like the video. If we can get over 1,000 likes, that would be great, because I know there's plenty of you watching and you've been superb. And subscribe to the channel if you're new to the United Stand watch-alongs. We've got loads of live content through the week and stuff. And the best way to get that is through subscribing, and you'll get a notification every time something happens on the channel. So thanks everyone for watching, and I think Chris might be joining me on Saturday lunchtime for the Leicester game. Excited about that, but it's going to be a very difficult game. But I'll give Chris a couple of minutes or however long he wants, just to give his thoughts.
I mean, for me, it's a work in progress. Like I said, we came in, we won 3 games. We had a bad few weeks. Hopefully this will now spur us on, and we'll move on from this. I know it was only Northampton, but you've got to start somewhere, and I'm hoping it will build a bit of confidence up with the team. We haven't lost now, so that whole 4 games on a trot, is now, they can't say that. The media can now back down a little bit. We can get on what we've got to do best and just start winning, putting results together.
Yeah, I hope you're right, and I hope we can improve things. I'm sure we will. I mean, all I can say is I'm totally behind the manager, and I'm sure he will get it right. I just think there's stuff going on behind closed doors that we don't know about that needs sorting, which could derail our season. Because if you lose the dressing room, it's very difficult. That's what happened at Chelsea. But if he's lost the dressing room now, or he's losing it, then he's losing it for wrong reasons, because he's losing it because he wants to try and force players out of the team who've got big influences within the club who just aren't good enough to be in the team, and they're the right decisions to make. So I think that's why we've got to back him no matter what the results are. If he's doing the right things and making the right decisions, we'll just have to wait and see. But thanks everybody for watching. I'm going to shoot off and set up the live stream to do a live match reaction in about 5-10 minutes, normally just after Jose's spoken. And we will see you back on Saturday for the watch along and other content. Obviously we'll have a Leicester preview as well. Thanks everyone for watching, and thanks for Chris coming on.
Cheers. Pleasure.